Futures back in positive territory here this morning, trying to get back above some key levels from the past couple of days here as we continue to get this back and forth. The rhetoric, the headline rhetoric continuing this morning as are they having conversations or are they not having conversations? Who are these conversations with? No one seems to really have an answer to that, but the market doesn't seem to care at this point. We are higher, which is always good to see. Individual names moving around this morning, all kinds of them really. ARM Holdings looking pretty good. New headline as far as ARM is concerned. We'll also touch on NVIDIA as well, moving around a little bit this morning. Robinhood to the upside on a buyback. A little bit of action after the close last night for that one. I mean, it goes on and on here. Palantir, more military headlines. Bitcoin trying here 2 days in a row. Looking a little bit better than the rest of the week at this point. But I think this all comes back to, it's worth noting, yields downside in a big way today. There was a bit of a mess. I was reading this morning on a 2-year auction yesterday.
Wasn't good.
That came in basically with no bid. Kind of a problem. And that sent the 2-year above 4% very briefly, back to 3.8 this morning. The 10-year and the 30 also back around the 4-ish level this morning, so heading in the right direction for stocks.
Mortgage demand coming out this morning lower than expected as well. Continues to drop. Lots to talk about. A couple of earnings names, more than a couple actually. KBH reporting this morning. KB Homes, GameStop also reporting this morning. PDD, Pinduoduo, formerly known. Chewy also reporting. Merck with a headline and acquisition there. Brendo, as you mentioned, on change of leadership. They're down 5 1/4. And then space names. We got to keep an eye on space names. You had Jared Isaacman, the NASA administrator, coming out yesterday making some pronouncements about what their intentions for the moon were. So some stocks were kind of dropping on that as they had shifted course a bit. Then we get more SpaceX headlines this morning about an accelerated IPO. And here we are.
June?
Maybe in June.
Yeah.
Speaking of IPOs, SK Hynix, the big memory manufacturer as well from South Korea, eyeing a North American listing. So
yeah, so we could have a few coming up here in the next couple of months that are noteworthy. Yeah, I mean, SpaceX is going to be a record regardless of when it comes, but it's sounding a little more like it's going to be sooner than later here. The big story as well, oil down better part of 5% or more than 5% at one point. This is just USO, but we're right back to these lows from yesterday here. Right now, essentially trying to bounce off 108 for USO. Apparently, more traffic being allowed through the Strait of Hormuz. Whether that continues or not remains to be seen, but it seems like that's what the market's hanging on here.
So many different reports that you had to pay a fee of $1 million to pass, and then we heard about a Thai ship passing. President Trump saying they're negotiating, but I was telling you off camera before we went live, my concern is that the government or the organization there is splintering. You may have, an extremist military part that may not be interested in any sort of agreement. You may have more moderates that don't want the country destroyed, who want to salvage whatever else, in terms of energy infrastructure, that may be interested in striking a deal. And you're negotiating with one, but that one arm isn't speaking to the other. So that does concern me going forward. I'm sure they've considered that, but that is something to keep in mind.
From an inflationary standpoint as well, the manufacturing side and the damage done on the manufacturing side to the oil infrastructure. I mean, they're already talking 3 to 5 years before we get some of that production online. So, yes, the focus is on the Strait still, but there's going to be a secondary effect on the price of oil, which is not good for the inflation talk. All that said, the market's green, guys. That's never a bad thing. Good morning.
Yeah. Exactly. I know there's
positive.
Yeah,
we got lots of good stories popping through today.
It's really busy today because you have all of the things that would make sense based on oil prices coming down, the metals are coming back in full force. You get gold and silver flying. The gold miners are doing crazy. Bitcoin is threatening 72. That looks like a continuation play as well. You have the individual news. You got ARM. You got earnings with Chewy. You got earnings with GameStop, which will, whatever they reported. I don't know how much they count, but apparently a lot of our viewers own some GameStop stock, so that should be out there as well. And then, throw back to yesterday. Pretty much anything that was in IVG was crazy moves. Palantir is almost all the way back from its crazy drop off the open. And remember Circle. Like Circle was, I mean, it's still not anywhere close to some of those, some of the levels that it saw yesterday. A little bit of a bounce back up 4%, but Circle was probably one of the biggest downside stories. Getting a bit of a relief rally today. So there is a lot to look at. There's travel names, obviously, that are going to get a bit of a relief rally with oil prices coming down a bit. And then, of course, there's just USO itself. So, wow, I mean, you got to buckle in, like we always say, because there's a lot to watch. The watch list is full. Sharif's note is full. I'm almost full from this delicious breakfast that we had with the egg bites. So, in a good mood. Boom.
Yeah, for me, the egg bites tasted, I was saying this to Joe, they tasted way too fishy today. I don't know,
Really?
like sometimes eggs get that little fishy taste. I don't know. For me, I had one bite and had to chuck it, but yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, I don't mind them. Good. The breakfast is always very consistent around here. That is for sure. All right, Tesla right here today. You know, going to be an interesting name. I actually already wrote down that we were going to take the pre-market high break, and I wrote down 391. But I mean, that's happening right now. So, you know, it's the problem when you write down something an hour and a half before the market opens. Yeah, it looks like Tesla today going to get excited here. With their IPO of SpaceX, hopefully that can create some action for Tesla. I'm not really sure the combination of Tesla and SpaceX and why I'd want to buy Tesla stock on that IPO, but it's definitely got the market talking here. And there goes Tesla up 2% right now today and starting to go already, 600,000 shares. Well, this will, oh man, I guess I should have just punched 391 at the beginning. But yeah, a little risky rate here to get long in the pre-market. But yeah, breaking through 390. Nice couple days here for TSLA, battle back. And we'll have to wait to see if it can hold this 400 level, right? I mean, it's got to get above it. That's where your 200 period moving average is. I'm not sure, like, just because they're trying to announce the IPO, I guess once you sort of make this official, then you've only got a couple weeks, I think, until it eventually comes to market. So I'm assuming it's going to be on the NASDAQ, I would think. They were trying to get special, they were trying to get special permissions to go into the NASDAQ 100 immediately. And I believe the S&P 500 as well, just based on, not sure what exactly, but that should be, I guess, just pure market cap, I guess, at that point. They're trying to go 75 billion, I think it was, the raise. Yeah, Tesla as a company, forget about it for now. We're not worried about the car business. You saw Rivian, actually, that's been a pretty good play recently off that $15 level. That's come in and bounced a little bit there as well. Like this might be the one, you know, if you're going to look at an EV type of play right down there. $15 has been your 200 period moving average. It has bounced off of it a lot. There's Volkswagen deals. There's various things that Rivian's working on. They got their R2 coming in later on this year. So yeah, I think Rivian has a good opportunity. I mean, if that R2 can sell more units than expected and come in a little bit cheaper on the production side, then I think there's a runway here for Rivian for sure. Yeah, all the normal names are bumping today, like NVIDIA. Again, another, you know, we say it like tongue in cheek here, but like it's literally down to 170 and back to 195 and back to 170, like so many times. We've done this exact move. There's 195, there's 170 back in October. We break through on earnings, but there's 195 again, there's 170. Oh, what a surprise. We're right back up there, right back down, right back up on earnings, right back. So we're kind of still in the middle, but I do really like what we're seeing today on the NASDAQ. The fact that we're up 1.3% to start the day with oil down gives me a little bit of risk-on feels today.
And actually, in addition to NVIDIA there, like don't sleep on, like AMD is actually up 2.5. AMD and Intel are both, you'll find them in the watch list as well, where they both have a deal. Raising CPU prices, which if you can raise prices and get away with it, it's always a good thing. So they're both gapping up really nicely. You know what's a disappointment? When I was going through all of the things, I'm like, okay, well, if things are looking bullish today, what were some of the names that look good for a bounce? And we like the levels and thought there could be some continuation. And one of them was the first things I looked at was Uber. But Uber it's up with the market. I was kind of expecting that you'd see a little bit more strength off this low from Uber, especially just the other day. Just the other day, you were looking like you were breaking out that 50 period. It's disappointing, and if the market goes the other way, it's worth considering. This one is at a pretty big. Like if we dip first, is what I would consider. Like, this is at a pretty big support level, which not a lot of stock would be after this bounce, but that 72 level could potentially come into play if somehow this gets reversed and the market decides it wants to pull back in. And again, I know there's a lot of names that we're talking about. That's why you're in the right place. We'll do our usual. We'll find some options names with Joe a little bit later. I know we have Raheem coming through today. So I'm sure, wow, it's whether you want to talk about energy or the metals, I think both are going to be huge. Oh, and for all those out there with that SpaceX news, that Destiny stock is moving. Usual caveats for this Destiny thing, yet half of it is SpaceX, and its fair value is not usually that great relative to its holdings. I'll just throw that out there, but it is a pretty good trading vehicle for like SpaceX exuberance, right? I don't know the use of this thing once the IPO comes around. I can't even imagine what happens to this if it's already trading at too much of a premium. But yeah, Destiny should be in play. It's already done over 1 million shares. You can see it up 30% here and squeezing a bit. So this one, it's it'll be one of your small cap gappers today for sure. Oh, yeah. So I don't know if Sharif will be involved in this, but it's above VWAP and it's breaking out. So it seems like it would fit the bill, Sharif.
Looks pretty good, Neil. I like ITOC as well. Sub $1 stock broke out yesterday in the aftermarket around 4, holding trend, higher lows, touched 60 this morning. That's ITOC. There's also BZAI. This one's a bit more consolidative, Brendo, but it seems to have a lot of support between 150 to 160. Keeping an eye on those. Yesterday was a pretty aggressive day for small caps during the midday.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how this space theme overall affects some of these little guys running around as well. I was reading about this last night, more quiet headlines out of Meta, which is actually higher this morning. You can see there was a move after the close as well with the overall market. Trying to get above this 600, 601 level once again. More quiet moves from Meta, getting away from this metaverse situation. I don't think there's a way he can just pull the plug entirely on this, but they're shutting down this VR social platform, Horizon Worlds, which has been apparently just a gigantic failure, I was reading.
There's like these creators that like live in this Horizon Worlds thing, and they make videos on this. So they go and they like pretend to be, I'll just give you a random thing, like an airport TSA agent, and they'll like slap, they're making a comedy, like anybody coming in, they've got like a gun, like, what are you bringing a gun into the airport for? So it's very cool as a game, very little utility in terms of your real life use. But Meta has a bunch of headlines this morning, Brendo. I put 3 stories on the morning note for Meta just because they all needed their own look. Guys, they lost yesterday a big legal blow to Meta, a financial blow, $375 million. Verdict there about childhood social media addiction. They're planning on appealing. There's also that AI talent retention story, basically looking to give them stock options there, and that Manus deal that we talked about, the acquisition that they made for that Chinese company. Apparently, a couple of Manus co-founders, or I think top-level management, can't leave the country of China until the investigation is over. So that seems to have not been concluded either.
Minor snag. Meta, though, has been in pretty good shape here the past couple of days, still chopping around overall, guys. Higher time frame, not bad. I mean, comparably speaking to some of these other tech names, looking good back above 600 here.
Yeah, not bad. That's probably a good way to describe it. Those incentives are wild. It's like some of those, like the first tranche is, if the stock price gets to like $1,100 or something for some of the executives that got them, and then it just gets crazier from there. So I mean, great, but a lot of things have to change very quickly and all in break in the right way. I don't know. I feel with Meta in this particular case, this is one of those, well, we can already see where it made the low, and okay, well, there's nothing bad about a higher low, but this is not on the verge of breaking out. We're at just above $600, which is fine. It's a pretty key level. You look at where we're bouncing in the daily. Okay, good. That's exactly where you wanted to bounce back off that 580. It's gotten cheap again, under 20 for the PE. We haven't really taken that first step of breaking the bottom consolidation. It's got to get over 60. Yeah, it's like 609. Yeah, just call it 610. We need to break out 610 on Meta, and then you can get going. And that's sort of the thing. Like, we've gotten a headline. How many times have we been sitting there and everything, like maybe we're down 1% on one of these days and everything looks pretty bearish. And then the first thing that happens is, we challenge the upside first. And then and then eventually there's a reversal. Maybe it's 10, 10:30, 11 o'clock. And if you're looking for the short, it comes in a little bit later. We could see something like that with the long. So I feel for that, on that note, like I'd rather be looking for things that look good on a dip. Meta, yeah, sure, you've got this nice support down there, but it would be better if it was in the midst of a breakout through 610. And then you could be, if you're up here and you could be dipping back into these levels, back into these prior highs and then get going. This doesn't really have that profile yet. It doesn't, still like it. It's just for today, I don't know if any of those headlines give it enough oomph. Let's just say you got some chip names that look fantastic. I think you got crypto, certainly that is going to move around here, and the aforementioned metals as well.
I mean, they have Meta's still pretty good, man. They have year-over-year revenue growth of 22%, so I think the business is still pretty solid. Cash on hand of over $35 billion as well. The only problem is the stock is not really reacting nicely right now to any headlines, but you are at a bottom of $580 to $600. We could get going. Also with a PE of just under 20 right now. That's very attractive. Underneath market multiples right now is Meta. They did lose some sort of a New Mexico lawsuit there yesterday as well. It doesn't seem to be affecting the stock here today. Let's just wait to see. I mean, all that CapEx spend, man, they're leading the way in this space, and it's going to have to turn into be something. We talked about avocado and llama and all these things not being overly successful. Well, just, I like WhatsApp. I like the fact that they can try to monetize some of that and get going with WhatsApp. So, I think Meta is a good name, and I always say the thing, like every time there's someone born, there's a new client for Meta, but, it's not really reacting right now, and the market continues to move lower. Today, though, we get a little bit of a bump. So for me, I'm not a buyer yet of Meta, man. It's already a big piece of the pie for me, and I'd rather buy indexes right now than Meta or Google or anything like that. Thank you for the coffee, for Neil and for Randy. Just today, like maybe back into here, if we can fall into yesterday's close, fine. But I'm pretty risk on. Like, what just happened to the market, though? Like, we just had a pretty good dump there. I didn't really see anything come across the wires. Did oil all of a sudden make a little bit of a move there?
Not much.
Down to, okay, 87.88, a little dollar spike there in crude. I mean, the market just went whoops. Oh, wow. It's almost like if this was in and around.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh. Yeah, it's fine. I was just gonna say, if the market was open right now, I mean, I have TQs marking down as a long in this area, on the note. I'm just gonna put it out in a second, but like this is something for me to look at, coming into some of these levels that we're seeing. This is overnight. This is 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. things like that. But anyways, okay, there goes the market to the downside. Did we just get a note up there, guys? I heard you mentioning a little something.
Yeah, it's more of the same. I mean, Iran just coming out, completely rejecting any thought of a ceasefire. So, I mean, we were talking about the same thing yesterday, essentially. And I think this back and forth whoops, I'm gonna throw my coffee across the desk. I think this back and forth, as you were alluding to, might continue here, depending on who is actually behind the microphone.
Exactly. This is being reported by the FARS news agency, citing a source, doesn't name the source. So it's kind of a black box. I mean, you're going to get reports that say, yeah, maybe things are progressing, and then, the other side comes out, rejects that. Brendo, it's tough because it creates a lot of market volatility. And we saw plenty of that yesterday. We saw plenty of that on Monday. I'd say more on Monday as talks of negotiations began then, with obviously Iran coming out and saying that they weren't going to do anything like that. But you also saw escalations yesterday with Israel targeting new strikes both in Lebanon and in Iran. So you're not really seeing a letdown in the actual warfare itself. So
I mean, it's
talk.
The headlines are saying or alluding one thing, and then what you're actually seeing is completely in the other direction. So what to believe is quite difficult. I mean, I feel like we had this conversation going back a couple of weeks ago, the simple fact that we went through this period, this long period of, being in a market that is very individual catalyst driven. So, individual stocks had their individual news stories. It's been a long time. You got to go back to probably 2022, the end of COVID, or coming out of COVID, where it was an overall market situation, not a individual stock driven situation.
And you're seeing that on the indexes. You're seeing it. I mean, we were consolidated for a long time. People were like, oh yeah, valuations catching up to price. Then we started slowly making those lower highs, whether you're looking on the SPY or the Qs. And now we're in a bit of a downtrend with the IWM. The Russell 2000 officially hitting correction territory, maybe more to follow if this continues. But the VIX has also been spiking down a little bit today, obviously, with the market up. But yeah, no shortage of volatility. But hey, I mean, that creates intraday opportunities, and that's what we're all about.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are getting to the point where they're trying to find a spot to dip a toe in and test the waters a little bit, but not sure we're there yet, guys, for this, from the overall market anyways. I mean, as we see, every single headline has quite the reaction here.
We're not out of those waters yet. There was a question someone in the chat was asking, are we through, was that the market correction? And, well, I'd love to be able to tell you that there's a definitive answer with that, but it relies on what's going on in Iran. Now, we got a first good step. Maybe this 15-point plan seeds something and we get a resolution pretty quick and the Strait opens up and things get back to normal. But when was the last time things were that easy geopolitically? So I'm not necessarily thinking that you can get away from this notion when you are trading. You have to keep the ear to the ground, understand that no matter what the sentiment is or how strong things look, it doesn't matter. A single headline can change things. If you look at, just look at USO. I mean, obviously right now it just made that big move. You look at what happened just after the bell, but also look at what happened midday, right? We had just a huge volume spike before 2 o'clock, and that changed everything. Right? It doesn't, you can be absolutely cruising. It was, oil prices were looking like they were just going to continue to rally like it did the day before, and pretty much most afternoon. And when we get these turns, they are violent. So you have to keep your head on a swivel. It's really important. That's why we're going to have it there. That's why we have the news for you guys. And that's why you don't have to overreact to every single headline. But when you see a seed shift happen, and effectively, let's watch oil, you're going to have to be alert to it. Very few things are not going to follow it. One thing we're all going to follow right now is the lead from Joe when it comes to options.
Got that right, my friend. All right, guys, let's take a look at some of the activity from yesterday's session. We're going to kick things off with one of the most volatile names in the market yesterday, and that's going to be Circle. A substantial dump off of its highs, especially after a stellar earning report. Now, not being able to generate a yield is massive, but I think that's something that needs to be implemented when we are referring to stable coins, right? It's a US backed dollar, all right? So open interest, very light. There's no error there, 619 contracts, which I find slightly odd that there's not that much options activity on this specific name, but I just wanted to bring it to us just due to the amount of volatility that actually stepped in within the underlying drop in 20+%. Now, as for the volume, 2,210, and that's going to be at that $120 strike price that we are looking at. And that was the largest, really. I mean, you can go up and down a couple of strikes. You might see a little bit more on the open interest side. I believe it was 118 or 115, something along those lines, that had 700 contracts, but not nearly as much volume. So this was the largest combination between options volume and open interest, all right? Spread, that's lofty. All right, $20 essentially there between the bid and the ask, so it's going to be relatively expensive. Now, as for your delta, guys, considering it's so far out of the money now, it's extremely cool, and your gamma exposure is drastically slowed down. But one thing that we can take note from, and we've gone over this on multiple occasions, and we look at underlying assets that go through these massive volatility spikes, and what happens essentially is that we have the volatility being priced into the value of these contracts, but how do we take advantage of it? We don't necessarily want to buy these at these elevated prices. Why? Because we know from a day-to-day basis that the chances of the average true range or the volatility is slowly going to start to compress. And where did we see an example like that? Well, silver. Look what happened when we had that massive event where we sold off drastically through the intraday session and we reached highs of around 174% on the volatility scale. And then sure enough, day after day, it slowly starts to cool down. But there's ways you can take advantage of it. And a lot of it has to do with options writing. So a lot more to go through. But there's ways that we can play volatility decay and let it work in our favor alongside theta. All right, moving forward. Let's take a look at Apple, guys. Open interest sitting around 21,100. Contracts volume 16,000. At that specific level, guys, this is going to be the 187, or sorry, yeah, what was it on? Hold on one second. Yeah, oops. So that's a slight error. I don't know why it does that. Yes, and that's going to be at that $250 mark, expiring this week. Never mind this, guys. But those are the value of those are not worth very much right now. Okay, so you can see at one point these contracts were worth substantial amount. $2,500 at one point this contract was worth, and now it's worth essentially nothing. Your delta exposure, because it's so far out of the money, it's not going to be any value. And the delta on Apple is relatively cool. And why is it cool? Because we can take a look at our at-the-money IV. Very, very light, 30%, okay, 30.8%. That's going to be at that $260 strike price, guys. Keep an eye out on that one.
Yeah, Circle, look, Circle obviously, I think, well, I shouldn't say obviously, but I would imagine obviously for a lot of people is going to be one of those big, like, potential shot plays today. Hey, nice little, well, the market's trying to bounce back a little bit, although.
Is it?
No, I saw the NASDAQ off the lows, but then I looked over and saw USO still at the highs. So until that changes, I don't know, we could still be heading a little bit back down for NASDAQ. Back into Circle for a second. Look, there's a huge gap to be filled, and it gave us at least one indication of the price that might need to go. Like, this was all downside. There were a couple of places where it checked up a little bit, but it didn't stabilize until about 107, and 107 then turned into resistance. So I think you have an obvious breakout price that if it doesn't get over, like, if the market rallies, great, if Bitcoin goes, fine, ETH, all that good stuff, but if this can't get above 107, like, it's telling you the resistance level. There's not a lot of places that you can look for obvious resistance. And Circle is going to give you one here at that 107. But yeah, as it stands, like, I feel like if oil, like, it came in and everything, I was sort of looking for long plays. If this oil move continues higher and looking for potential shorts, there's a continuation under 107 that would at least be in play for Circle. Gonna maybe hunt for some, well, if we don't break this trend, this is what I like for the south side. At least there's a few names out there given the weakness yesterday.
Yeah, oil continue a move higher right now. And like we said, like, we weren't sure who exactly the U.S. government was talking to in these negotiations, because apparently the ceasefire and this agreement is not being well received right now by Iran. So yeah, a nice move up there for oil, back up to $89. Still down 4%, but it was down 8% or so this morning. So a little bit of a battle back. And then there goes the NASDAQ. Yeah, it's interesting that Apple, Joe looked at Apple, Neil and I were sort of mentioning that one, as it's not really reacting too well, but yeah, these wicks don't exist right there. You're up to 250. So the reason why I was going to say, I don't think we broke through the 200 period, but anyways, you're right around there right now at 250. We talked about good companies trying to buy them in and around their 200 period moving average. Now, if you do that for Microsoft or Meta or some other names, Palantir and whatnot, then you might have been misstepped. But right there for Apple, I think a product where, again, you can hold it in your hand. We know they're working with Siri and Gemini to get that little large language model in their app going as well. I think Apple does have quite a nice runway, you know, with the revamping of their phone and their models, going to a possible flip phone coming out soon. We know that with the cameras and the AirPods, those will probably be hot. People will rotate out and grab some of those as well. I think Apple's a great stock, and once you figure out the story in China, what's going on with the tariffs, like right now, we've sort of, China's on the back burner, right? I mean, I know that there's the AI story is still, you know, very, very alive. But with everything happening in the metals, everything happening in energy space right now, I think we're forgetting a little bit about some of these higher quality names like an Apple that can produce in the right environment. And I think that environment's going to be here soon. I know we're not getting interest rate cuts this year. Apple doesn't necessarily need those. Sitting on a bunch of cash, not spending any of it to acquire companies or anything like that. I think Apple can work in this environment, and I'm glad Joe brought it up. I like these bids in and around this 250 area for AAPL. I think it's not going to get there today, but you never know what's going to happen. Look at the market fall here. Look at Apple. Literally acting like it's not even open, which it's not, but no move back down to the downside for Apple, as opposed to like another stalwart company like a Microsoft that has this IGV issue behind it right now, where they can't get out of their own way because it's not their fault. They have Windows, they have some great products out there as well. But, we're worried about Azure. We've got Google Cloud. We've got AWS. Look where the 200 period moving average is on Microsoft. That's 480. That's $100 away. You're 25% away from the Microsoft 200 period moving average. When you can get Apple right now at the 200 period moving average with stronger forward look, for me anyways, on the business cycle. So, I'm pretty excited to trade today. Although a lot of the levels that I wrote down, like I have the sticky note out. I have the T, here we go. I have the TQs. We're getting ready to set up. We're going to get Raheem in just a couple seconds. TQs, Tesla, Palantir, and iBit. But most of these levels are going to be breaking already. TQs 44, Tesla 391, Palantir 156, iBit back down to 40. So, we're getting closer to some of these levels right now. There's iBit, the 200 period. That's why we write that down at 40. And Tesla broke, but did it come back? Yes. So Tesla does break. So that's still activating that 391 to me. Right there, 392.30. I did write down top of the market. It takes between like 90 to 180 days for SpaceX IPO to actually hit the market once you file. So we're still 2 to 3 months away, I'd say at least, until we get that in. The talk was, I'm not even going to be here. Hopefully it doesn't happen on Elon's birthday. But that weekend, I think it was the last weekend in June. I think I have to ask ChatGPT or something when Elon's birthday is. But I think it's in and around the last weekend in June. For some reason, I think it's the 28th.
We got a super chat from the son of Daniel Cheese Tycoon.
Perfect. You guys back.
Trump's peace talks are taking place with people who hold no real power in Iran. It's the intellectual equivalence of the Ayatollah tweeting that Marjorie Taylor Greene has agreed to surrender. And this is sort of this is where some of it's true. Like we don't know where these talks are at. We don't know what progress is made until the Strait opens up, until you see actual days and weeks of no military action or tankers getting through unencumbered. Everything is just bouncing around from headline to headline. But the thing is, that's the environment we've been in for the last few weeks. So I feel like we should be, I don't want to say comfortable with it, but yeah, we're going to have these ebbs and flows, and we're going to break trends, and then we're going to find, all of a sudden we could catch a bid here and whatever, the next truth or tweet, and then we're moving around. That's just part of the game for right now. And we have to be able to live with that. It's not, well, you don't have to be able to live with it, but what you can do in a situation like this is I look at the NASDAQ dropping here, and you can see it drop. And I'm like, okay, well, what are the names that look strong that are holding up a little bit better? Well, Palantir, as we break down toward the lows, Palantir has barely moved this entire time. Slight move to the downside, but not much. So that kind of stays there in the realm of strength for me because I'm not seeing it react as much as the NASDAQ was. So I do like that. And as you guys can tell, we are locked and loaded. We have Raheem and special guest joining Brendan at the desk. So without further ado, let's get it started.
As you guys were alluding to there, we're very happy to have a special guest. I mean, Raheem comes all the time, so we'll get to him in a second. But Mr. K. Rajaraman is the chairperson of the IFSCA. I want to make sure I get that right, which is the single regulator overseeing Gift City in India. It's a pleasure to have you here. Welcome, first of all. This is a very, very unique. Raheem was trying to explain this to me a little bit yesterday. This is a very, very unique proposition that I want to get to in a second. Everybody knows Raheem joins us every couple of weeks here, Managing Director of OCI Groups and the Chief Representative in Canada for India's Chamber of Commerce. We'll get into a little bit about why this matters to North American investors and why this matters to traders specifically. But for viewers specifically, maybe in the US or in Canada who look at US equities, tell us a little bit more about this. Why do those investors specifically need to know and pay attention to this?
So today, the Indian investor is looking at diversifying his asset base. So and not only that, the domestic regulator allows Indians to invest abroad as well, I think. So there's a scheme called the Liberalized Remittance Scheme, under which you can invest up to $250,000 a year. So in global themes. So this affords an opportunity to many of them to also diversify their investments and invest in many other stock markets. The US stock market is obviously, I think it's been doing extremely well because of some of the tech stocks and all that stuff. So that's been an area of interest for Indian investors too.
Yeah, we've had many conversations about this, and the ties into North America and the interest that comes from it specifically.
Yeah, so like we were talking about yesterday, the number of investors that are now, just in India alone, has gone from 20 million to 130 million brokerage accounts. So you're adding in 110 million people over the last couple of years, and you guys were saying that number could double and triple over the next few years because of technology advancements. You've got an audience of people here in the US, in Canada, in India that are growing, and they want to see how can they invest in India. So with Gift City specifically, how are they going to be able to access this market from the outside looking in? And then the investors in India as well, like what are they going to be able to take advantage of with Gift City coming?
So you made a very important point. I think India has got 1.5 billion people. So for long years, till as late as about 2014-15, many of them at the bottom of the pyramid did not have access to the markets because many of them did not have a bank account. So the Honorable Prime Minister of India launched the world's largest financial inclusion programs, in which between 2017 and as late as last year, 540 million people were given bank accounts, which are connected to a mobile phone and a biometric ID. So this has brought them into the formal financial sector. So this notwithstanding, a lot of other developments have also taken place. While the bottom of the pyramid has now joined the formal financial system, many of them actually pay using the mobile phone. Today in India, nobody uses a card. I think everybody uses a QR code or a mobile phone to pay, thanks to the digital stack and bringing everybody into the formal financial system. So now this will have an impact in the formal financial markets because many of them will start investing as well. So this 135 million, which Rahim referred to, is likely to go to about 400 to 450 million over the next 15 to 20 years. So this will be perhaps the largest retail market in the world, I think, in terms of, because of the, I would say the answers lie in financial inclusion policies of the government and digital infrastructure. So today we have something called the India stack. These three, which I mentioned, the bank account, the mobile phone, and the biometric ID is what is called the India stack. So all financial market applications ride on the India stack. So we will see an explosion in the number of participants in the domestic market. So I'll just give a statistic.
Sure.
The mutual fund industry in India, in domestic India, now receives almost like a $4 billion investment every month on month from retail investors. So that's the scale. It's just begun, I think.
Yeah, let's continue on that. From the institutional level, why would a fund specifically choose Gift City over Dubai or some other hub in that area of the world?
It's a very good question. So India is now the fastest large growing economy in the world, I think. It is also a democracy. And there are dreams of how the bottom of the pyramid's fortunes can be raised to middle class. So the consumption story has just begun. I think India is a consumption-driven economy driven by the population. We are also export-driven, but a large portion of the consumption comes from the people and from the activities within. So I will say that the Gift City theme, I think, of setting up an offshore financial center in 2019 by the government of India was focused on how to aid, assist, accelerate, and facilitate the India growth story. So the Prime Minister of India has launched a program called the Viksit Bharat at 2047. That is when India will turn 100 in 2047. How do we become a developed country? So the focus is now on how to raise capital. So while domestic, as I said, the millions of people who are investing in stock markets will also provide capital for India's growth. A lot of investments will also come from outside the country. So let me give one more statistic.
Sure.
The foreign direct investment inflows into India last year was $81 billion. These are long-term investors. Into the stock markets, I think every year, I think money keeps coming and going out, but the total cumulative stock of foreign portfolio investors in the stock markets is currently north of about $900 billion. So between foreign direct investment, which is long-term, and short-term investments come into the volatile money which comes into the stock markets, I think the foreign investors' confidence in India has really gone up. But while that be so, the effort of setting up Gift City was to provide an option to foreign investors. So this is a piece of foreign territory within India. It's a free zone. money can be taken in and out, without any controls. There are no capital controls.
Right.
So it is like a piece of territory outside India. I think you can imagine that. So I would say that it is something similar to a Hong Kong to China. I think if I may put it in a very simple term. So it gives a lot of flexibility for foreign investors. He can move his money to India, or also he can move his money to other destinations as well. So that option has been provided to foreign investors, which many foreign investors with a business model which is regional in nature would prefer.
Raheem, from the market standpoint or a trader's mindset, you and I have had many conversations about the IPO market being, just absolutely insane over the past couple of years in India. Is there something you're seeing, more recent that catches attention?
Yeah, like we've talked about this in general here about the Indian equity market. There's a massive opportunity in the Indian equity market. Typically, if I'm sitting here in Canada, the only way for me to invest in the Indian market is through ADRs, New York, Tata. But if I want to look at the small caps, like the small cap IPO market's gone gangbusters. And now with Gift City, you're seeing investors, the larger institutional investors, all the way down to smaller funds. They can now come into India via Gift City. I'll ask you this question. Actually, I'll spin it back around.
Sure.
What are some of the international investors that you guys are speaking to? What are they coming in saying, okay, I want to invest in the Indian story? Is it large caps? Is it small caps? Is it sector specific? Where are they looking in the audience here? If they want to come and set up accounts in India via brokerage, what are those kind of sectors and segments that people are seeing? That's the India story. That's where I want to put money. That's where I can make money.
So, so as a regulator, we have no preference for what of caps. But from what I hear,
what you're seeing,
from what I hear, I think the institutional investors prefer large stocks, I think, because they find more comfort in that. Whereas the retail investors in India, they are seeing a lot of value in the mid cap and the small cap investors, because they are fast-growing companies which are in diverse sectors, including technology, in e-commerce, maybe in agriculture, technology, and so on and so forth. So there's a wide variety of themes in which you can invest. So therefore, from that perspective, I think the Indian capital markets now cater to all these kinds of needs, I think, because each of them have come with a different kind of aspiration and a need. From all these perspectives, I think the Indian mutual fund industry meets this need, because it provides various themes in which investors want to invest. And in fact, Indian domestic mutual fund industry is a very fast-growing industry, thanks to the retailization of the market. The microstructure of the market has changed from a corporate institution-driven market to a retail market, thanks to financial inclusion. And also, I would also credit the domestic stock market regulator, SEBI, with doing a lot of simplification in the stock markets, making the market go digital, and removing the barriers for investment by making the systematic investment plans as low as $1 being capable of being invested in those stock markets every day or every week as they please.
Right.
So all this has attracted the common man into the stock markets. So what I would see is that if you look at what is now happening in India, I think now the government has put a lot of focus on infrastructure and also advanced manufacturing. So today we are seeing a new line of companies emerging in India, which are like, say, in the sectors such as semiconductors, space technology, defense manufacturing, and electronics, mobile phone manufacturing, and so on and so forth. So some of these new sectors are very attractive for the investors. On top of that, I think we also have a very large startup program in India. I would say there are at least about 200,000 startups in India which are recognized by the government of India, and many of them are in very deep tech sectors. So these are some of the people who are going to the market through IPOs and so on and so forth, bringing a lot of value, unlocking value in the market. I would also say, other than that, the public sector undertakings, the state-owned companies, whether the financial institutions or the sectoral companies, which are in various sectors, like the Coal India Limited, the mineral corporation, the mining corporations, right, and railways, the defense manufacturing corporations, and all of them have unlocked a lot of value by going to the markets. So therefore, there's a choice for the investors to look at, not only state-owned, but also private sector, technology, and so on and so forth.
12 months from now, where's this state? Where do you see this going in a year?
So if you look at the current focus of the government, I think the focus is on how do we scale up high-end manufacturing in this country. And in that specific sector, I would see renewable energy and green technologies as one of the areas where we would see a lot of growth. The government of India has set a target of about 500 gigawatt of renewable energy energy production in the country by 2030. So we have already commissioned about 260 gigawatt. The government has also launched a hydrogen mission. So the thinking is that how do we manufacture a lot of these technologies within India, be it solar panels or wind energy equipment or hydrogen electrolyzers and so on and so forth. So this is the new wave of manufacturing that is getting unlocked in India. In addition to certain other technologies like electric vehicles, maybe things like even like rockets, maybe. I think there are startups which are actually sending satellites, low Earth orbit satellites.
Sure.
So there are a lot of options there in the market, which right from deep tech to outright e-commerce.
It's an exciting time and lots to come. Only the beginning. Mr. K. Rajaraman, chairperson of the IFSCA, the single regulator of Gift City in India. It's great to have you. Welcome. Welcome to our country as well, and I hope you enjoyed your stay.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Did you hit it?
I didn't hit that one. That was
My hands weren't on the keys.
Yeah, but India and Canada,
Let's
yeah,
go.
coming together. I mean, that's the thing. All that new infrastructure, talking about new businesses there, energy space as well. Talked about even into space. So
Big theme today, everybody.
yeah, with the SpaceX IPO, hopefully going to get filed some point this week. But yeah, just goes to show you the globalization, right? There's so much opportunity out there right now. We want to thank our great guest for coming through, and hopefully does have a great visit here in lovely Toronto, Ontario. And thanks, Raheem, for bringing them along and just explaining to us, the advantages and opportunities that are out there outside of the U.S. markets.
Because there's other markets out there for sure. Speaking of, I was gonna say that we were bouncing nicely, but
Are we not?
yeah, well, look, we're off the lows. There.
Okay.
So the Nasdaq's off the lows a little bit, but if you're sort of watching that, you also have to understand that USO and oil prices have only pulled back a little bit and are more or less holding trend. So they're bouncing off higher lows. We're still trending up on the most recent, that recent. You're not negotiating with the right people, and we reject your ceasefire, which we're hearing out of Iran. So it hasn't really changed too much. Let's see what's on the. I expect there's going to be some good names on the upgrades and downgrade list for Joe, with Joe today.
Quiet on the downgrade side, but we do have some exciting names on the opposite end, guys. The upgrades. As per Neil's request, we're going to start things with downgrades. Mondelez. I didn't know they had some brands in here that I didn't know were under the name. Very interesting stuff. All right, guys, $71 price target being lowered to $55 by Rothschild. You're down 1/3% here. Now, Alexandria Real Estate, BMO Capital, obviously giving them the downgrade here, guys, considering we're in the red. And it's $65 target down to a $52 target. Outperform to market perform. Now, EVgo. Charging station overweight to a neutral weight here, guys. It's still slightly positive this morning, but JPM giving them that downgrade. Moving forward, we have Crescent Energy, Johnson Rice giving them the downgrade, guys, with a price target of $19. You're down about 1/5%. Moving forward, we will take a look at some of the names that we have been talking about. We have GM up here, Wolf Research giving them the nod, guys. Going from a pure perform to an outperform with a price target of $96. You're up 2.5% here this morning. Now, a big time move in ARM Holdings, almost 12% here on the day with a price target to $166. Going from a market perform to an outperform. Now, Netflix also getting the nod as well, too, guys. Going from a hold to a buy, and you're up about 0.75%. Now, Alibaba Group also getting the upgrade to a hold. You're up almost 4% by Argus here. So not too bad of a look on some of the upgrades this morning, guys.
Yeah, ARM on the watch list because when they had their event last night, or in the afternoon actually, it was the event and then some more announcements last night. They're expecting $15 billion in the next 5 years in revenue, which is a huge increase for them from that new chip. But Netflix becomes interesting. You want to look for things that maybe are at key price levels. Yeah, they got an upgrade. Okay, timing of it after it didn't really show a lot of strength yesterday's trade could be interesting. But it's very similar to Uber, where you came in not that you really hadn't bounced that far away from support at 90. I know I said 90 last night. It's 90.5 technically when you look at that 15-minute. Ever since the Warner Brothers deal went to Paramount, Skydance, this has found. Look, it's found a little bit of a dip. Oh, that's right, not split adjusted. Always have to zoom it back in so you can see. We had that breakaway. It's found its sort of dip support level, and so long as we can hold on to that 90.5, this little bitty downtrend that it's been in is showing some signs of reverse. But today, it is relatively weak today. We need the futures to bounce back, but I can see this, as long as we hold 90.5, I can see this making that move for anyone to hold shares. I do hold shares of Netflix, we like that buy at 80, and I do still think we can get that 100 level here on Netflix. Today, though, a little bit relatively weakly. You saw the things, and it hadn't gapped up that much, right? And Netflix wasn't the name that was affected by this geopolitical turmoil in the war and oil prices in a general sense. So it was never really something that you would expect to have as big of a bounce back. It was just going on its own. Like, this moved because this was after the deal went to Paramount and it found a technical level. I expect it looks to me like it's respecting technical as well. An 80 breakout that goes to 100 and then bounces off a 90, that'll work.
Yeah, Rosenblatt also raises their buy target and rating here on Palantir. So a name that we're going to get to, Golden Dome, huge project, $185 or $200 billion project here. They're selecting Palantir software to help run that. So, I really do like Palantir here today with a price target upgrade. I think I just read it here, $200. So, that would be a good little level to get to if Palantir can get up to there. It's about a 30% move from here to get back to that level. So we'll see if Palantir does have the juice to keep a strong bid today. And we've seen, I wrote down there to dip by this name because, we had some moves yesterday that we got caught in on Palantir where we tried to buy, the bottoms of the pre-market. And right now, I just, I don't necessarily want to buy 157 here today or even 156. But 156 is what I wrote down. It was yesterday's little top area. And I think that if we were able to fall down $2, much like yesterday, we opened the day at 160 and fell all the way. It was a little bit of a different market yesterday, but all the way down to 152, that's $8. Straight to the downside. So I don't really know what level of Palantir I like here, but I think this has to be on watch today, so it is. And I wrote down 156. Just yesterday sort of peaked there in the afternoon. If we can come back and fill up that gap, that might be a spot to start to look at Palantir. Or if the market can sort of turn around and get a little bit better feels into the open, then I think a break of even 158.50 here on PLTR worth something as well to the long. So, I like that upgrade on the price target there from Rosenblatt. I know it wasn't necessarily on the list, but it's on our watch list, and excited to trade some PLTR today. The name that we read on yesterday off of basically one trade idea early, but that's what I want to do. I want to try to put on good trades early. If we lose, we lose. If we win, we win, and we can hit some of our goals. So Palantir right now, 158.50, looking for a break long or a dip into 156. So, so far so good. Thanks, Raheem, for bringing on a few extra guests for us there. That was exciting to hear about different markets. So good for that. And would have liked to see what maybe India's, with the population there, what they're thinking about Bitcoin and crypto and things like that, because we know the Chinese and Korean markets are pretty strong over there favoring BTC. So I'm sure it's similar in India as well. But just looking at iBit, they're holding 71,000 for crypto for Bitcoin down here. Good little take. I think Bitcoin's getting ready for a run, but it all matters about what this market does. We saw yesterday the Nasdaq was down 7 or 8% from its highs, so a little bit back there today. Making it pretty good. Yesterday we were down 0.8, I think, to end the day, and right now we're up 0.9. So, basically just washing at what happened yesterday with oil and gold and silver all on our minds here today again as well. So, all right, let's go back over to the desk and see what the boys want to talk about. It's a packed watch list today as well.
Big time.
It's actually a good question, and I just messaged Raheem, see if we can get an answer on that for India specifically and Gift City, which was a really interesting idea, how they're modeling it after some of the other financial hubs in that area of the world, Dubai, and from a tax perspective anyways. But I'll see if we can get an answer on that. Robinhood just popping back up in front of me here, 71.50, bit of a pivot so far this morning. Back and forth we go here on this buyback headline. The market obviously helping with this move as well. A few names to deal with this morning that we haven't talked about, it seems like, for a while.
Yeah, Hood is an interesting one. This news item came out, I think, later in the afternoon yesterday, but we were going to cover it, so I threw it on the morning note. $1.5 billion Brendel share repurchase program, replacing the prior one that had been authorized by the board. The new plan adds about $1.1 billion in incremental buyback capacity as of March 20th. So a few days ago, the company had already repurchased about 25 million shares, give or take, at about an average price of $45 a share. Total buybacks under the previous program, about 1.1 billion. This will exceed that. 1.5 is what we're talking about now. They also expanded their what they're calling the revolving credit facility from $2 2/3 billion up to $3.25 billion. So it gives them more maneuvering to expand. We know that they've been wanting to expand into the prediction markets, also looking at giving you retail traders or retail investors early stage IPO access. So a lot of different avenues that they want to pursue. You're going to need cash to do that.
If we get this SpaceX coming to market, I mean, it's 75, 100, whatever the number is going to be. You got to think the retail side of things is going to be a huge player in that. Like the demand is just going to be like nothing we've seen before.
And rightfully so, Brendan. We don't need to be babysat by the regulator. This is an opinion, of course. It's just my opinion. But I feel like, you know, if people are a lot more informed now, and they have a lot more access to information than they did in the past. We don't need that umbrella regulation. I'd love to see more retail participation in these IPOs, especially one as watched and as followed as SpaceX, obviously because of the rock star status of their CEO. Makes complete sense to me. I want to see it with more companies.
From a trading perspective, purely, I mean, we've seen nothing like this. I mean, Neil, I'll throw this at you as well. Like, I think you got to go back to the Tesla rebalance or the Tesla moving into the index type of trade thought in that manner. And at that point, the swings and the volatility that we saw at the end of that day was just nothing, like nothing we've seen.
It's a good point that you brought that up, because that's probably the only thing that I could try to compare it to. This was one of those, it's a weird one, because when Tesla, and this has nothing to do with Robinhood, because we're going to talk about Robinhood. I'll get back to some technicals on Robinhood in a second. When Tesla went into the S&P 500, the anticipation for the buy that day at the close and just how much volume and volatility would be there had every single trader, regardless of the trading style, everybody on the floor was like, it's just going to be about this. And everyone was so excited. They were getting in early. And what was so crazy about it is it absolutely, like, early rinsed everybody. Like, before, it was like at 3 o'clock, it was just tanking. And people were just buying the dip. And you'd think that could have screwed a bunch of people because people were just leveraging it. And it still ended up going gangbusters into the close because it was just that much buy demand that it didn't matter who was rinsing people. So I can see something like that where even if we think the price is ridiculous, SpaceX, retail is going to be, and everybody, and rightfully so, is going to be so interested that it could be absolutely epic. Maybe it does some shenanigans at that open. We can deal with that when it comes in, you know, what's at some point in the second quarter. Let's just say sometime in the first half of the year, we're going to get them. When it comes to Robinhood, though, which you'd think would be a good beneficiary here, Robinhood falls into the category today of, hey, you've made, I don't know how many times it has to hold this 70 level before it sticks and we get a breakout. And the breakout isn't until, even if it just retravels this range, you'd be perfectly happy if you got 70 to 85 there. That's a good trade if you like it. But I think there's a little bit more that can happen here with Robinhood. Long consolidation, holding 70 very, very well in here. Hasn't done our secondary breakout yet, which is a bit disappointing. I'll put this in the category of, I kind of felt if we got some more positive headlines that we could be a little bit stronger and breaking through like 73.5. What it does have in its favor is, A, you've got the support level that you can really, really lean into on that daily chart. And the secondary effect would be, it might not have as much of the negative impact of oil prices moving around. So if this gets a breakout, you like some things that have a chance to sustain it a little bit better if we can actually round it out and take out the top here on Robinhood. You know, candidly, I, for the first time in my life, purchased shares of Robinhood. The second time it bounced off that 70 level. So I'm in for the first time ever for myself. And I do like this support. It doesn't mean it's going to hold here. But to me, it was just a good place to start a DCA. And yeah, it still has to break out. You can see the downtrend is still pretty much intact. But you get these lower highs into a flat bottom, at some point it's got to resolve itself. That's either going to be a breakdown or we get that nice push and we get back to the 50 period. You know, for today, I don't see anything too crazy with Robinhood that gives you an entry. So I'd stay away from it today. But I do love this level of support.
Yeah, nothing wrong with Robinhood. I mean, obviously, it's going to be a growth stock. It's double the PE of all the major financials, so you got to pay for the growth, and that's what you're going with that. Morgan Stanley 14 PE, JP Morgan 13, Robinhood 35. XLF, just to see what's been happening to the financials. I mean, this is part of the story here as we come to the downside. I think, a SpaceX IPO will help, fuel the market a little bit for the Goldmans and the Morgans and even, Robinhood and some of the IBKR and some of the names that will, Charles Schwab, that will create some more buying opportunities. It's just like the problem with Robinhood, honestly, just sits in one spot, and that's with Bitcoin, right? And if crypto doesn't get going again, then there goes pretty much all of their transactional revenue. I know it's not all of it, but that's a lot, I feel like, of what's been happening. And if you look at Robinhood's chart, it is similar where you're trying to base out right here after a huge move down. So like there's iBit, what that looks like on the daily, right? And if you look at what Robinhood looks like on the daily, it's going to be something very, very similar over the last 7-8 months. There it is. So here's like sort of the highs, and this is, again, don't look at it like that's Robinhood's ascend, which was amazing there from low teens into 155. But we do have quite a ways down. I think Neil's attitude is right with dollar cost averaging, because I think you're going to get a 50 fill at some point here, 45 into 50, I think, for Robinhood. So I still think there's a little bit of a ways to go on the downside there. But if Bitcoin bounces, which I do expect it to, I think Robinhood can get going. And even, look at this 85, 90 area. So I think there's some opportunities there for Robinhood. For me, I do like the bigger stocks there, the Charles Schwab's, a little bit better. But, nothing wrong with grabbing new technology, especially if these are Trump accounts. We talked about Trump accounts, and if that's going to be Robinhood's thing as well, that's another opportunity to make some money. This is Centrini report. Nice move down, but you could see Charles Schwab nowhere near some of these lows and actually above the 200 and looking like it wants to get going. So I think if you're going with real assets under management, Charles Schwab probably has that game. So yeah, lots of good opportunities in the broker spot. Robinhood's just one of those as well. So getting ready to trade Robinhood off 70 seems like a good idea. Whether or not that hits today or not. The NASDAQ's back up, which is real nice. We do have, remember, one of those bad IPOs that happened was Voyager. This was one that I thought was going to be something similar, not to SpaceX, obviously, but you could see right here. Okay, let's go load up. Okay, there it is. All right. So back in June, so this was one of the ones I guess that we had. It opened up at $70, and that day closed at 60, and then the very next day closed at 50. So 70 to 60 to 50. Only to eventually get to 40, only to eventually get to 30, and now down here to 24, 25. So Voyager hopefully is not going to lead us down the path of SpaceX, and hopefully SpaceX's chart is kind of the other way. But I could see retail really getting tired of that name real soon. But it'll definitely be a meme stock for a while. Just interested to see what the pricing comes out on SpaceX. And but yeah, there's another example of an IPO not gone right. There could be so much interest that it does sell off the open. I could see that as well. People
out.
They allocate everybody. Everybody gets their fill. The stock doesn't pop, or maybe it pops 50 cents, and everyone's like, "What the?" And then the huge sell comes in. But we'll be
Facebook was a
but we'll be here ready to do that, ready to watch.
Well,
it.
Facebook wasn't hyped like it was, but that was an example of one that a lot of people really liked on day one, and the story was how far it dropped. We got a question from TikTok asking opinion on NVIDIA, and I wanted to just give a quick answer there. But before I did that, as the market bounces, Micron at the low of the day down 2%. So it's not all roses everywhere. Is MU under a little bit of pressure? It's lost that 400 level once again. We rebounded there in the afternoon, and we're back underneath it. So there is some weakness over in Micron. Got a bad wick on that chart. But as far as NVIDIA goes, look, NVIDIA, it's going to be a bit of a theme today of things that have found their range. I just pointed to the 170 level on the daily so you can see that it's been holding. You got the big jump up from, hey, where? 170, obviously, there on NVIDIA. It hasn't made the breakout above, we'll call it the beginning of the week highs here, like this 179 area. I would venture to say it's 180. That's the key price level that needs to go. Like if we don't round the bottom and get through 180, then you're still in this range. Like we had that top range 180 to 187 where that seller was in control for such a long time. And so for NVIDIA, without breaking 180, we're not back into that range yet. So this one's a little further away. I would venture to tell you guys or to tell anybody AMD is a bit different. Like if you're looking at something in the chip space which is breaking out, this is through a nice double top through a 208 here. So again, this is a stock that has a level where you can dip into that prior high and it's on the breakout instead of like NVIDIA, which kind of needs to get to that 180 and then break it out. Different story there for NVIDIA. But it's already past 9 o'clock. Let's get into our free watch list. Locked and loaded, lots to cover, market moving around. The USO is going back through VWAP, so that could be a good sign. I think, well, if you want stocks to go up, then I think that's a good sign. If maybe you're short and you want things to go down. But USO pulling back which is a good sign, guys.
653, guys, and change. 653.10 or so is where we closed out yesterday on the SPY. We're above it right now. We're up 0.9, closing in on 1%. But here's the deal. We're looking at a lot of resistance here at 660. Multiple topping tail candles that reject 660 on the 4-hour chart here on the SPY. So that's resistance level number one. If we can get above that, that thick black line is an even more or staunchy resistance level, 662.5. We bounced off there for a period of days using it as support. Then we started using it as resistance. If we sell off for whatever reason, the market starts turning. We're looking at that 655 area, Brendo, as support.
All right, if you haven't done so yet, link is below. Head down to the description right now. Second link there will get you to the sign up page for the watch list. Absolutely free. Every single day comes right to your inbox. You know the deal. All you need is your email address. Let's talk about this Tesla thing. I mean, we just touched on it a little bit there on the retail side of things. I was just reading, Tesla, the company, has reduced its stake significantly in SpaceX. They're saying less than 2% as of the last filing. So Tesla, as the company, owning less than 2% of SpaceX, the private entity at this point. Still going to benefit, though, when this thing comes.
Yeah, well, I would like to see if the valuation remains the same after the acquisition of XAI, because we know that that's a cash burn business. They're having to build out these data centers hand over fist. But I know that takes a lot of money. So you have a very positive cash flow, and I think their yearly revenues around 15 billion profit. Sorry, not revenue. And then you have XAI, which is not profitable yet and burning through cash. So I'd like to see if that kind of changes the narrative, so to speak, but you have to keep your eyes as well on these other space names. We're talking about RKLB, Rocket Labs, Firefly Aerospace, FLY, EchoStar, SATS. They are all moving on this sort of in sympathy with SpaceX.
Yeah, Tesla looking good right now, guys, trying to get back to session highs, at least at the moment.
Yeah, following the market doing it, but Shreve makes a good point. Like sometimes you will get the sector that gets a bit of a bump and riding the coattails. But I'd say a little bit of disappointment. Like I look at ASTS, it's up a couple of points, but I would expect that being a growth name with the NASDAQ bouncing here. I looked over at Firefly, and Firefly, what is going on with this thing at 25 bucks? The last little bit, like someone in control selling this through 25, so it has trouble gapping through that level. Probably worth watching if you can get through. It's going to be relatively light volume, and if you're looking for like a pure play, let's get hyped about SpaceX thing, it's Destiny, which has already pulled back from some of its highs. I think it's roughly half their holdings. You can go look it up on ChatGPT. Destiny 100. There's a lot of private companies. They hold a bunch of private companies, but SpaceX is the biggest by far of those holdings. You got some. I think there's some OpenAI in there as well. Probably like roughly 8 to 10%, and I think half of it's going to be SpaceX. So you get a little bit exposure there, but this is a decent proxy momentum-wise for the feeling of SpaceX, and it is already pulling back. So if this is your gapper trade, it's at VWAP doesn't matter as much when we get these dark pool dumps, which kind of muck things up a little bit here. So I wouldn't care as much about the volume weighted average price. Throw it up on another chart where that'd be cleaner if you like. But it is back into a downward trend and just made a lower low. So it's going to have to show that it's broken this trend if I were to get involved. I'm not a huge fan of this one as an investment. I've said that based on its valuation a few times before. And then Tesla, I think you trade Tesla on its own. I don't think this story today is necessarily about SpaceX. This is about what we're looking for in a reversal in the market. This is about Tesla trying to claw back to the 200 period moving average. This is about Tesla having held the higher low. And oh yeah, there's another example of a stock that did round the bottom and did break it out. So it had a double top at 387, and now it's actually breaking out. That's the difference between like AMD to NVIDIA, or why we weren't excited about Meta, because like, those are names that in this bounce didn't even get through our latest resistance. Tesla has. It's busted that 387, so it can dip and still pull into a prior high, which I like.
All right, option A is going to be yes. Option B is going to be no. I'm going to put up a chat right now. First of all right, just right here, I'm looking at Tesla long. I said we're going to take a 391 break there. It's already broken, so we said or the pre-market top for momentum long. I mean, I think that 2% number is significant enough anyways for Tesla and SpaceX. I mean, I think it's going to be a rocket ship, you know, pun intended there, off the open for SpaceX. Now, that's going to be months and months away, so it's not like you're buying the stock today in order to gain some exposure to SpaceX. I mean, you can if you want to, but Tesla's not going to be at 390 when SpaceX IPOs. So we're not buying it today because of that. We're buying it kind of because of the hype right there. So now the pre-market high is 392.50. I'm not absolutely in love with some of these break levels. I mean, the market has gone up. We saw Tesla really get excited the first couple mornings. I mean, I missed a couple of these trades that were big off the morning time take, but we have been able to fall back in as well. The market's giving me a little bit of a headache right now. I'm not sure what to do. 385 dip buy is what I wrote down, so that would be coming right into here into 386 to 385 for Tesla, if that is a trade that winds up making any sense for us. There's 386 into 385. So, and the reason why I'm excited for a possible break long is we've seen these moves really get extended out. I mean, we didn't take this break, but it was the day before that we were like, oh my God, we wanted a break right there in the pre-market, missed it. There it goes. That's 7 a.m. Sorry, it was right into here. That break right there, 373, missed that one, and we popped through, right? And then yesterday as well, early, there's the pop. No real breakout, but there's the pop right off the open. So let's see what winds up happening here today as the pre-market sort of quiet right now, looking for that pop through the high or a dip into 386, 385. So yeah, I think Tesla will be watched today. The reason why I like it so much is that we're already up double what the market's up. Plus, we got a decent story behind it. We'll wait for the imbalances, but I think Tesla's a long. So that's what I'm willing to do, man. Go long on Tesla. And then we said we'd have a poll up, so, or at least I did there. I'm just trying to make it. So why don't we just do this right now? As long as I'm doing it correctly, we can get in there, whether or not you're on TikTok, wherever you are right now. We're going to do this right here. Are you buying the opening print? Opening print on SpaceX, yes or no? So start the voting now. You got to get into the chat right here if you are part of it. I know I will be, so I'll be pushing 1 on that one right there. I don't know why I'm logged in as myself on here. I should be logged in as my other account. That's really strange, but okay, I'll go get that. Because look, Neil, see what it says right here? It's showing that I'm logged in as myself, the other account. Anyways, there it is, man. A lot of votes coming in right now. So it's 66, well, 70-30 right now. The votes are starting to line up. So thanks, Fabian, for doing this. You can see the chat sort of going crazy right here. If you are on TikTok, anywhere you're on, please vote. It will count all of your votes. So if you're on Kick or Twitch or Rumble or right here on YouTube, hit the votes, man. We'll check this back in a couple seconds. It's only been a minute, 45 seconds, and we've already got 130 votes. So, you know, thanks everybody for all those votes. Keep them coming in right now. Are you buying the opening print on SpaceX? 1 or 2 in the chat. Okay, it looks like it's going to be 2/3, 1/3 here on that one. We'll check it back in just a couple minutes. Let's go back over to the desk, and maybe we'll give this poll 5 minutes. Let everybody get in there and vote, and then we'll see. And this will help us determine the retail side of it, right? I mean, everyone watching is going to be pretty much a retail mentality. So we're going to think about how many people will be sitting there willing to buy on open. This is regardless of price.
And for Ryan Pope on TikTok, I believe it is, SpaceX IPO is not today.
No.
We don't know the exact.
Wait, it's not?
It should be probably.
Need more buying power.
It'll be probably a couple of months at the worst. So at this rate,
I looked it up. It's 90 to 120 days after the filing is the general. But you know, with Elon Musk, I mean, it could be 5 days after the filing. Like, you never know which kind of strings that guy will pull. So I looked it up. June 25th, I think, was in and around Elon's birthday, which is what they thought about, which would coincide with that 3 months. So that does work out. All right, man.
Another
250
successful
votes.
IPO is going to be next on the list while we're talking about IPO. So get your votes in. This was one that if you took the opening print, you were definitely smiling.
9 days.
100%.
Yeah, we were just saying it'll be 69 days guaranteed. BMNR, there was a little bit of a headline there, launching Maven, its proprietary Ethereum staking platform. It didn't move on that, but BMNR up with crypto today. Anyways, I'm actually surprised by that. I thought it would be way more on the yes side. It's what, like 60-40 right now, Sean? Yeah, interesting. Keep voting, guys. Keep voting. 1 or 2. Are you buying the SpaceX opening print? Let's talk about whatever else is on this rundown. ARM. I don't know. You want to talk about ARM?
I do. It's up 10%, Brendo.
Sure.
I mean, we got to put some respect on this one here. Up big after unveiling their first in-house AI chip, as well as very aggressive long-term guidance. So what they introduced here was their first internally developed chip, the AGI CPU, and they're targeting specifically AI inference workloads in data centers, a high-margin product, as we know, of course. Anybody who sees NVIDIA's margins. Designed for the rise of agentic AI. It's a fundamental shift from what the company does, which is typically licensing their intellectual property. It opens a door to significantly larger revenue capture as their gross margins will improve. They're projecting, as a result of this, about $15 billion in revenue from this chip alone by 2031, with total revenue coming in at about $25 billion. That implies about a 6 times growth rate from the $4 billion revenue base that they had last year in 2025. CFO guided Brendo 50% gross margins. That's a lot higher than they were making in their licensing, and Citi called it the most significant shift in the company's history. But they see upside, but there are risks, of course, because it's an unproven product, but they like the upside more than the risk.
Costs as well. 150 significant here. We're back below it right now, guys, for ARM. Thoughts?
Well, this is what ARM's been looking for, because it's long traded. Ever since it came to market, it's been expensive on a PE basis, and this is kind of the shift. And this has been talked about. Obviously, this is fantastic news, but this has been talked about and rumored for quite some time. This is not the first time that it's been brought up. So realistically, if you thought that they were eventually going to figure this out, and again, it's not a proven product yet, it's going to be expensive to do, obviously, but the upside, I think, is absolutely tremendous for them. For today, the ball doesn't really lie for ARM today. It's a major gap up, which has been selling off. It's been under VWAP the entirety of the morning and still fading. Now, I can't remember, in this last few months, we haven't had that many big-time gappers on rather large or bigger names that have done well when they've had this kind of a profile. And when you have the fact that the market's pulling back because oil is still going higher, I'm not a huge fan of this. If it was above VWAP, I was going to like it a little bit more if it could hold these gaps above VWAP and hold the 150 level, but it's still going to be trending down. I think this is they had an event, and they had a major piece of news after that event. Allow people to take their profit, and then we can come back and look for a dip area in a couple of days.
Just real quickly here, we do have right now, it's still 64-30s. So you guys, get this vote going just a little bit more here. And type in the chat, vote 1 for yes if you're buying the opening print here on SpaceX, or chat mentions detected 60. Okay, good. Type 2, let's zoom that back out. I got to get rid of that. Right there, type 2 for no. So we don't have too many more seconds left. I'm going to probably stop this in just a couple minutes, and then we'll update what this is right now. It's going to be hard to influence it, but type 1 or 2 right now. I guess you can probably vote multiple times. There's the little cheat code for you there as well. ARM, yeah, just looking. I have to ask Fabian if you can vote more than once. I don't know if it detects your IP or not, but yeah, breaking above 140. I mean, I think you just gotta, if you're gonna go long, I mean, you just use this area as your support, and if it breaks below it, I don't think you want to be part of it, right? I mean, the last time we broke below it, obviously it made the move lower, but you've seen here, we've battled it back before, maybe 130 maybe as a key level there for ARM. Now you've broken through. I expect it to come back in a little bit. I mean, I think the 10% is probably a little frothy there today, but yeah, trade this name as when there's a gap, play it off to VWAP, and we're already underneath that. So I think I'm looking short on ARM today, but it is great news. So I think if, back into that 140 would be the play, but I'm not really on ARM today. I've traded it before. Not super excited about it. There's so many bigger cap names that I'm looking forward to. But I like ARM there, and I think 130 is a decent spot. 140 gets me excited as well. And there it is, man. It's starting to get a little more even right now as we have, are you buying the dip rate opening print on SpaceX? 123 votes, yes. No, sorry. 194, yes. So 60-40, and we'll wrap this thing up on open. So far, so good there. We'll give everyone till 9:30. How about that? As it looks like more people coming in and voting to the no side right now. All right, let's go back over the desk and talk about PLTR. This was not an IPO. This was a direct list that only in hindsight, guys, $11 Palantir came to market at.
Crazy. Absolutely flushed out of the gate yesterday. We're right back up essentially this morning. More than 50% of what happened yesterday taken back. I mean, that's just another headline there for Palantir on the defensive side of things with Anduril. I was reading this morning, I was trying to find the article, but I couldn't come up with it. It's the anniversary of when Meta bought the goggles from Palmer Luckey and the initial, which is crazy.
And then fired him.
I think it was $2 billion. It was the initial price on that.
Yeah, he needs to be let loose, Brendo. He can't be in a public company like Meta. But today, this morning anyway, Rosenblatt analyst John McPeak, he reiterated a buy rating on Palantir with a $200 price target after the Journal, the Wall Street Journal, reported Anduril and Palantir are developing the Golden Dome missile shield software. Palantir's Maven Smart System was just named as well as the system of record for battlefield command and control by the Department of War, the analyst tells investors in the research note. And Rosenblatt thinks the Golden Dome could be, quote, worth many billions of dollars to Palantir over phase one. It believes also the Golden Dome is supportive of upside to the street's estimates through 2028. So good look for Palantir. Anduril, obviously a private company.
Yeah, market liking this as well. I mean, the market liking today, it seems a little bit better anyways, guys.
Yeah, but as we pointed out earlier, they're liking this a little bit better than the market for now. Not just percentage-wise, but if you remember when we got that Iran, you're negotiating with the wrong people, we don't agree to a ceasefire, like that kind of talk, and we had USO spike, and we had the NASDAQ come down, we didn't really do much. There was a little bit of a dip that did not break the low, and since then, the recovery has been stronger. So while you bounced maybe 2 VWAP on the NASDAQ, you were back out and above the volume-weighted average price on Palantir. So that stays. It was already on the list for long anyways, just simply by being a breakout through this 156.5, which would be, that's the kill zone. If you get underneath that price, it's like, okay, fine. There's no fighting it if it's back underneath that resistance spot. But until then, I'm looking for the dip and rip play in PLTR. Want to buy the dips. Do keep your eyes on oil for sentiment shifts, but this looks very strong to me. And we'd also mentioned on the daily chart, it bounced off the 50 period yesterday on the daily. So it's got a nice consolidation that is looking to take that next step higher. And it's already making, it's like its higher lows it broke the downtrend and making a good higher low. It's just set to break this out. It needs to get to the 200 period. For today, it's the move to the 200 period I'm interested in.
Yesterday I had Palantir written down as one of the top ideas as well. We took it and lost on it. We're going to try to go again. I mean, if it dips into that, it's like 156, 157 right now, long. If we get any setups on dips, that's what we want to take. But I'm actually looking at this market, and if we can, now we're starting to tick down just a little bit here, but if we can hold the bid, I actually don't see there being too many problems buying this rip right there through 158.75. So there's only 5 minutes now. Well, there's 2 minutes until we get the imbalances, and then another 5 after that. So we got about 7-8 minutes until the market opens up, and then we'll be able to see what Palantir wants to do. I mean, it's gone for huge moves off the open the last couple of days, right? So just to look, and then we'll go back to the boys here. We don't have too many more stories to cover, but there's the move yesterday. Huge move up right off open, giving me the thought that, hey, this is going to be a long. Then we, just like we wrote down today, buy the dips. Well, that obviously got crushed, and it was P&L number one to the negative side yesterday, Palantir. And then and that's off one trade. And then right here, the day before that, on Monday, there's the move right away, taking out that pre-market high of 153 and just going up $6 from there. So even if you take $100 100 shares there, you got a decent move. And then look what happened. The very next open, boom, dip buying would have got smoked there in Palantir again as well. Looks like Thursday was pretty choppy, but look at that open, up to 153, down to 151, right back to 155. So, you've definitely got some big moves capable here with Palantir right off the open. So looking for that again today. And I'm looking long. So I'm thinking that this is a decent trade. 158 break long. And then if you come back in, man, and you break through this like 158 flat area, that's your 200 period. VWAP's down here at 158. So I think you got a decent trade opportunity here today setting up for a long on PLTR. And I'm willing to play the dips if it doesn't come through. If the rip happens and fades, we'll play that. But I do like the break of 158.50 or whatever this pre-market high level is there, 158.80. But again, 5 minutes left until the market opens, and here are the imbalances right now. And there's NVIDIA with a small buy on the NASDAQ right now, ARM with a sell. You can see NVIDIA taking a little bit of a kick higher there. I'd said ARM I thought was going to be some sort of a sell today. I don't even know where it is anymore. There's Amazon with a bid as well coming out right now, so that's starting to kick a little bit higher. I thought I saw ARM was on here. I think as a sell, but maybe that's gone already. So, yeah, not much else going on. UCAR.
That's a penny stock.
Yeah, it's a penny stock. Amazon switches and goes all the way down there. So you can start to see as they start to get paired off a little bit. Yeah, well, SMR probably not doing anything. Gold there as well today. GLD up 4%. We didn't even look at that. Nice move there for gold. Back to the upside there. So, yeah, just a couple names, and it doesn't look like, let me just go back to Palantir, and then we'll go back to the guys with 4 minutes left. Did Palantir do anything? No. So there is not really a significant imbalance today on PLTR. So we'll wait to see what that one wants to do. I like the long.
All right, just watching AMD about to take out the highs here, both AMD and Intel. Fresh news story this morning, Nikkei over in Asia reporting that they are both raising prices once again on their products, totaling for this year alone since the beginning. I mean, it's March, last checked. Yeah. 10 to 15% in price hikes already this year.
That's exactly it, Brendo. CPU product line. Price hikes are going to start March and April, so now that's being reported by, as you mentioned, Nikkei Asia. According to the sources, CPU prices have been raised multiple times as well since the beginning of this year, with the average increase about 10 to 15%. And some products are seeing even higher higher hikes. I'm so focused on interest rate hikes now that I keep saying it. But so higher prices for CPUs since the beginning of the year.
A lot of people circulating this report. I mean, nothing has really moved on this, but worth noting, Wall Street Journal reporting Trump is planning to name Meta's CEO Mark Zuckerberg, Oracle's Larry Ellison, NVIDIA's Jensen, and Michael Dell as the new tech council, Science and Tech Council. So Zuck, Larry Ellison, Jensen, and Michael Dell.
No Elon, huh?
Shocking.
Yeah. It's probably that they don't spend as much time
probably a good
together.
Thing. Yeah. Anyways, AMD, Intel guys looking strong here today.
Strong relative to at least the other chip names that aren't named ARM at this point. AMD, like we already sort of mentioned this one, so just you got 208 double top. Oh, you can only see one half. There's the other one there as my head's in the way. I got a double top here the last couple of weeks on AMD. That gives it a nice little dip and rip level, at least for now. That's got to be on watch. I know it's not related to those, but I'm just going to quickly point out one more time. I've been digging. I'm trying to find a reason for specifically why Micron's down 2.5%. A couple people have asked about this one particularly. Now, we'll keep our ear to the ground. But this one's not looking good. It's actually getting worse as we go into the open. Micron making some fresh lows here. Now down 3 1/3 and continuing to fall. But yeah, AMD's super strong like that 208.
Just real quickly here to see what this vote is up to, then we'll close it right there. Actually, I'm going to get it in a second. All right, so that was NVIDIA, Intel, AMD. I like, we already looked at NVIDIA a little bit as well. But yeah, I think the Intel news, it's just, every time I call up Intel, it's like either 43, 44, 45 bucks, seems like. And it's just stuck right here like all of these names tend to be. Intel's a tough one for me to trade because I always seem to use too many shares and then it moves against me. But again, I like the long break, man. I mean, good stories today. Up 4% seems a lot, but if we're going to play along, Intel and AMD probably with this news and beating the market, wait for dip buys on this, but I think Intel and AMD are both pushing to the long today, that is for sure. 1 minute to go. Let's go back over to the desk. NVIDIA right now busting through the lows of 177.
On Meta this morning, we touched on them if you joined us in the first 30 minutes. Coming right back in, though, we're still hugging the 600.
$375 million verdict for that case in Arizona yesterday. Big, basically talent retention, stock options for some of their major management guys there, as well as China scrutiny over their Manus deal, Brendo.
MRK, just seeing this, MRK acquiring TERN, Turns Pharmaceutical, TERN, for $6.7 billion, guys. Good luck.
All right, thank
20
you.
seconds to go till the open here, and again, Micron continues to fall. I'm just going to get Adair to confirm. I saw a headline, or just one account tweeting saying Micron restricted from buybacks till 2027, potentially. But I need to get that confirmed for sure. But the market is going to be open. It is hump day. It is, well, it was market relief.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can get that continuation. We are now open. First move right away downside on Palantir.
First move lower.
No, the NASDAQ actually first move was a little bit higher.
Yeah. For some of these names, looks like the first move is going to be lower temporarily. Palantir goes into 157. I was waiting for 156. There it goes back up to the upside. We'll give it a little bit of a breath, as we said we would here for PLTR. High break would still be that 158.50 or so up into there. 158.80, I think, might be worth a break there on Palantir if this market wants to get going. Tesla right here as well, 390, that could be something. But it looks like, the 158.80 area or so for Palantir might be the one. So we'll wait to see if we can get something there on Palantir. But there's Tesla right now, Palantir bouncing. There's VWAP at 158. So we'll see if this can do something if we do break a little longer here on oopsies on Palantir. Oops, I don't want to be in right now, but we are into Palantir. Keystroke error right there on PLTR.
Bitcoin racing toward the highs here as well, so it might not actually dip into the support level. I actually liked the prior highs at 40.40. We sort of let it come back in when oil was making its move, but it might not get there. And if we don't, then I'll look for a dip into the volume weighted average price if that's all we are able to get. Robinhood just broke to 73.5, 72 breakout. Robinhood authorizing a buyback. So they did do a buyback because apparently they're allowed, and still waiting on confirmation as to what is going on with that Micron. Because Micron, look guys, Micron dropped another $5 off the open. It's now 5% down, hit 372. So while the market has been on rebound mode, this lost 400 pre-market and very quickly lost 5% here on Micron. Again, that's a big one. Adair?
I haven't seen any news yet. I mean, there was a story on the watch list, actually. It did have to do with, I guess, Google Research released this product that could be competing maybe with some of these hardware names. Again, I was seeing that like early pre-market, like around 7, so that could be what it is. But it's worth noting it's not just Micron. SanDisk also took quite the hit. Yeah,
SanDisk getting smoked as well to the downside. So not looking very good there. Keep an eye on oil. As USO it's pulled back, but it's showing signs of a little bit of a bounce. If it breaks that trend up, you could see some further weakness or some weakness in the market here. Well, the tech stocks anyways. That's what I care about. So yeah, iBit might not give us that entry that we're looking for down at 40.40. Looks like the first close is going to be holding that volume weighted average price. Still no crazy moves yet. Oh, the one thing we didn't get to, I like a travel name today, but there's no breakout yet on CCL. It hasn't really taken out this top, so I'll probably continue to look for the dip into support at 25.8. Hasn't happened yet, but it could soon.
Yeah, we watched Tesla just rip to the high side there. We did talk about taking a 391 break, but it was already down into that area. So I think now we got to wait to see if there's going to be some sort of a pullback in TSLA. But there it goes, man, breaking through all of the levels. That was the number one trade that we were thinking about and don't execute on it. We hit Palantir by accident, and we had to punch out of that one. I put the wrong price. I meant to put 158.80, and I guess I put 157.80, and that instantly sort of got right in there right now. So it is coming back in. I do want to buy the dip though in Tesla if that comes in back into 391. Not sure that's what's going to happen. Bitcoin still making moves higher, and then the Qs, if that winds up coming into play as well, the TQQs down there near the 200 period, potentially a break level there as well. Wow, Tesla still is just absolutely mooning right now is TSLA, trying to break, is breaking higher through 394. So a good move there, up $4 for Tesla.
Yeah, we have a few super chats, so you can just throw them right up, Andre. Anytime you want to. You don't have to wait here. Okay, I answered you Film World in the chat, but we'll say it again. That's a tough break. You lost a third. If you lose a third of your savings when you're trading in your bankroll in a single trade when you're starting out, I'm assuming swing trading. I don't know, but if I'm assuming that. Most traders, and what we usually say on the floor is, you take a hit that big. For a prop trader, it's the equivalent of losing like multiple months. I've seen a trader do that once, and it was like, either you're taking a break, or you are going to, what are your A+ setups? Only do that. Sometimes it's like reduce size. It's one of those things. You have to find one of those and lock into it, because that's a tough one. And there's no easy answer there. Adam James abroad. Morning, gents. Can you analyze VCX for the short term?
Here goes Palantir.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, I wasn't talking about that. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, no, sorry.
Palantir just shot up.
Go ahead.
No, I wish I still had that Palantir long. I did exit out of it. I had a little bit left, as you guys might have saw, so we did exit out of some more. And then we just punched a long right now in Palantir. So all good right now. We do take that long break of PLTR, but it's a high take. So, I mean, we're already up. We're already sort of smoking. It's kind of like taking that long there in Tesla maybe at the top, but we'll take it right here on PLTR. We only have 80s, so it's not rocking and rolling. We actually have the high there. But we did get some out above 159. We'll try to see if we can run that high again one more time. But so far, so good here. As Palantir makes that move, and now we're kind of stuck long, potentially at the top, as the move is stopping right here at 159.
Well, I guess we're canceling the AMD dip trade.
Oh, it didn't work. Or it didn't. It's ripped. Yeah.
Whatever,
okay,
man.
Figured.
Yeah, AMD is gone. It's absolutely gone. NVIDIA's through 179. AMD's through $215. It went absolutely ham. Tip side. Apologies about the super chat. I mean, you know what? We'll make sure we get to that for sure. With VCX, I haven't forgotten about it, and we'll get there in a quick little second. I am now in iBit. The market's through VWAP. iBit's holding VWAP. There's also a trend from the low. So as long as it holds this, I'll be in the long. If it breaks that trend, it'll be right here at about the $0.50 for iBit.
Oh boy.
So long is looking pretty good so far. Pretty much everywhere. I don't know. The CCL hasn't broken that top yet, but I think it's just a matter of time before it does. USO, fake pop, somebody just said. I don't think a USO popped. Yeah, I guess there was like a little tiny wick in here where it went up a little bit and then failing the volume weighted average price. That's a good sign. You want USO failing the volume weighted average price. That should take us back in through the highs. NASDAQ about to get there.
Yeah, there it is, Dollar Club already on Palantir. And if we didn't, wow. All right, 2 times daily goal. We talked about trying to hit these goals. And there it is, man. Yeah, hit that money right now, because there it goes. Yes, sir. There it is finally, man. One of our top trade ideas, absolutely banging right now to the high side. There goes Palantir. It's your first dollar right there. And I just wish we had held a little bit more of that move, but we punched into pretty much a full load right there at 159. So, wow, there it goes, man. Now we are really elevating this trade on PLTR, man. Yeah, okay. It's a stressful trade when you up your default a little bit, but happy when it starts to pay out right now as it is doing there on PLTR. Our day is done, and it's 9:38. Let's go get some more news from Adair.
So as I was mentioning, it does look like this Google research paper is the reason for the drop for Micron and SanDisk, or at least that is what people on social media are attributing to the drop, because of course we can never know for sure. But they basically have this TurboQuant announcements with regards to redefining AI efficiency. Again, as I mentioned, there is a portion of this about memory. Please read our Trader TV Live watch list for more details on that story. But that is what I'm seeing attributed to this drop for these names in the memory space, specifically Micron and SanDisk. Back to you.
Thank you, Randy. Throw that super chat back up, because we have 3 of them to get to. Is obviously the market is going absolutely ham. NASDAQ's back at those highs. If we could, it was VCX was the one. I knew, I was pretty sure it was VCX. I wanted to be sure that was the one as we got, okay, it's not a high volume
fall
thing,
back
Adam,
down.
as the market's at that absolute high. And remember, a lot of things just broke out. So like in the last few seconds, a lot has changed, if we're being real. So I don't think you can chase. It's a great looking stock. And if we had brought it up earlier, I could tell you the trend is your friend to the end when it bends. Technically, there's not much to look at when you're looking at blue skies, right? So when you got yourself a blue sky kind of setup, let's be real, it's usually hold until you get some kind of a trend break for me. I'm not a Fibonacci's or any of that kind of story type of guy, which a lot of times is what you need when you're analyzing those big breakouts. When it comes to breakout, I did set on my note that this is also a break at 40.80 if we get it. So on a breakout through 48 and iBit, we'll look to add to the long, but we're still going to be buying dips. And I just saw another super chat come on through there. If you can throw that one up again, Andre. We have AXPM. There is a research paper. Yeah, that's the Micron story. Appreciated. Adair just brought that to our attention as well. So SanDisk looking weak. Maybe you can find some relative strength in between the three, between SanDisk, Western Digital, and Micron. Which one's getting affected the least? And I would go from there if you're looking at the memory space. Adair?
Big move down.
Obviously, lots of stories on Meta this morning heading into the day, but I do have another story on Meta. META is going to be on watch as the information reports the company is going to be laying off hundreds of employees. Apparently, these cuts are going to be impacting staffers specifically working in the Reality Labs unit, and they might also be cutting some social media teams as well. Back to you.
Thank you. Yeah, we did hear about that last week there, that Meta was trying to maybe get a little more efficient there by slashing some jobs right there. So, okay, I was just saying, like, wow, big move down there in the market. I'm going to take advantage of this little bit of a bump up now if we can. I was just at 159.17. I don't know why we just stopped there. Hopefully, there it is. Okay, did we get hit? No, we did not yet. All right, so, sorry, 159.17. We'll see if it just blasts a little bit higher there. We'll get out of 5% of what we have left right now. I have about a third left already. I mean, 160 was a good clear out zone, so, but did not expect it to drop about $1.50 right there into there it is, into 158.50. More play to the upside. If we can get something near 160, we'll try that one more time, as it's your, for me anyways, the trade of the day right there to start the day with. And again, like, this is what we're trying to do every day, just trying to, you know, make the right trades and put on the share size and get it going, right? I mean, yesterday we had a similar trade in Palantir, and if we go back and just look to see how we traded it, actually, I don't know if it's on, it's probably on Twitter, but I'll look at that in a minute. Yesterday we got Palantir on this huge move up right there. Same very similar thing where I was like, let's play the dip, and it absolutely rinsed us. So it's nice to get back going today on, there it is. Yes, sir, man, props it up, man. Anybody that got this PLTR trade or any long off the open, man, congratulations right there. iBit, CCL going, but there it is, Randy. It's double our daily goal right there off the jump early on that one. So, and that's why.
Well, today's oil's down today.
Down, yeah.
So. But I haven't checked. I mean,
this is why I talk about making daily goals and stuff like that, because I really do believe that you can hit it and quit it, and that's been the most successful day traders that I've ever seen are the ones that have those big trades and then basically calm the F down the rest of the day. So we're going to hit that right now. It doesn't mean that if there's not more opportunities, we're not going to take it. That is for sure. But I just wanted to tell everybody that that is the goal there. And if you're on a prop floor, that's your goal. If you're on a funded floor, that's your goal. So hopefully you guys are hitting some of these as we get a little bit higher. Apparently Tesla had good sales out of Europe, I heard, as well. I don't know if that's what's going on there. Okay, there it is, man. Yeah, lunch 9-1 there. You caught Tesla long, perfect. I mean, we have Tesla long on the pre-market break. We wrote that down. So there's the Tesla long on the pre-market break. I have Palantir, but congratulations on that one. That is for sure. Both those names really rocking and rolling right there. Lunch 911 right there. Pay attention for another hour. We'll get our What's for Lunch segment coming up. So
Tesla Europe sales were up 29%.
There we go. Yeah, Tesla Europe sales up 29%.
Although Europe is, how much do we care about Europe for Tesla?
No, we don't care at all. It's just, it's nice that it's better. It's better to be up than down.
Oh yeah, I 100% agree with you. It's better to be up than down, but I don't know how much I'm going to care too much about the sales in Europe. We're still tracking what's going on in energy. Like every time I look up, I see USO, and it's trying to go. So I'm going to continue to, as long as, here, and when I say trying to go, you're getting this dance with VWAP. Come to my chart for a second. You're going to dance with VWAP. So every single time we get this dance with VWAP, it's like a reload here on iBit. But at some point, if oil breaks through the volume weighted average price, we could be headed in the other direction, and then this turns into losers, right? 'Cause I would expect it's like CCL would turn into a loser, and iBit would turn into a loser if USO breaks, and it's on the precipice of doing so. So unless you got like that early breakout, and Tesla was an example of one. I was going to say Palantir first because that's the one you grabbed, or if you were able to catch, I thought I canceled that order.
The market could easily.
If you're able to catch AMD, thank goodness I just went over there and canceled that order. You don't want to be still sitting down here if this stock pulls back $10 necessarily. But there goes USO through the top, and this is sort of where that concern comes in.
Wow.
Yeah, iBit just trailed out. I haven't been trailed out of CCL yet, but that's going to happen as well. So that early move up, now you're getting a spike in oil price here, and I had one idea for energy, which was that Boyle is weaker, nat gas is weaker than USO and oil. So I want to be able to fade. Whenever I see the trend break on USO to the upside, I want to dump Boyle. It's barely moving Boyle to the upside when USO goes, which makes me like it better for the short like I have for the last couple of sessions. Adair, what do you have?
As always seems to be the case with oil lately, there are a couple headlines. They don't necessarily fit nicely with one another. You have Pakistani officials reportedly saying that there's no confirmed date or venue for any potential talks with the U.S. and Iran. Plus, Iran hasn't even agreed to talks. So this seems very, very tenuous. But then you've got Nair News reporting that Press TV actually has access to information about Iran's response to the American plan, and they're going to be releasing it in, quote, a few moments. So we're going to have to wait and see. Back to you.
Okay, well, I mean, if anything is moments away, you guys are in the right spot. Make sure you do hit the like and the subscribe. Thank you to everybody that's part of our community right now, everywhere, man, as we got a little scare last week from YouTube, so we are now absolutely everywhere. Go find it on TikTok, go find it on Kick, Twitch, Rumble, every single spot. We're checking out the chats everywhere as well. Shout out to Bravely over there, monitoring us on TikTok and letting us know if anybody's, there's been a couple super chats over there on TikTok. So we definitely want to say a big shout out to everybody watching and to you, Bravely, and thank you for everything that you're doing over there as well. Okay, I was actually looking for that study because we did have it up and now I don't even know where I put it. But we did have the votes going, and I'll get that. I have no idea where I put that. It must have been a week. Oh, here. No, that's not
I have it if you need it.
Yeah, but you don't actually have the. Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know I could do it, and then it shows up on your screen too. Okay.
Yeah,
perfect.
it wasn't yesterday. It is now.
Oh, okay, great. There it is.
So the custom
I
poll
found it
was
now, yeah.
if SpaceX opens, and when it does, at some point, we're going to get this IPO this year. 60% of you are interested. Well, if 60% are actually interested in the SpaceX. Oh, it's a good thing we got that busted VWAP on iBit. If 60% are interested in SpaceX, one of the places you can play it, unfortunately, it's not looking very good, is DXYZ, the Destiny ETF. I never trust this thing. I think that instinct continues to be right. Remember, yes, it is 50% of SpaceX, but if you actually add up all of their holdings, do the math, and get all of their funding raises or the latest funding raises of all the private companies that they hold, it typically trades at twice the actual real value of its holdings. That's generally speaking over the last couple of years. This thing is usually priced pretty expensively. So I tend to stay away from it. Good vehicle sometimes for, I guess, momentum trading.
All right, 9:47. What else is popping off in everybody's world today? Make sure you do also another thing that we can do is hit the dollar sign. I just have way too many of these Fabian created things. I got to get rid of them. It's too many now. Okay, so here it is right here, guys. Let's have a quick little look. We are going to get out of another piece of Palantir up here at 159.25. Just a matter of seconds, hopefully, before that hits. So far, it's NVIDIA is on everybody's mind. I don't think we've looked there. SMCI up another 5%. Wow, that name's really coming back from some of those lows. Palantir 159, we're in that name, so we don't have to worry too much about Palantir right now. Tesla, wow, Palantir's really bouncing off my level there. We just got filled. Tesla, good little number there. SNDK, that's maybe where we should look. SNDK and Micron, both down pretty good there. AMD, wow, good day today. SoFi up 3%. Feed up 11%. So we can have a quick look there. There's another out
That was
for
that
me.
small capper from yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. This is Enview Medical here. I think we had these guys, I think, as a sponsor at one point on our show. So shout out to
I
Feed.
interviewed an exec as well in the midday.
There we go. Adair doing the best job over there with us with Feed. So there it goes, man. Up nicely there. One feeding tubes, right? I believe this was, and just sort of the exact locations and trying to level those out and talking about all the different opportunities there. Their total addressable market pretty large with this new technology, obviously, as feeding tubes and whatnot in hospitals are installed probably every minute. Okay, so there it is. Nice bounce off of $1 anyways. Getting into this area, we could see some more consolidation, which is not a surprise. So I think if you're up and around $3 on this name and you're able to catch that, you know, you could do worse. So right there, Feed and Enview. Good little look there by most of you in the chat that are interested in that name. You know, for me, honestly, man, I mean, we're just going to try to wait. The market's pulling back in, and I don't, like, this is where I'm looking at things with rose-colored glasses again. Like, you know, the market's down here, but actually Palantir's trying to go upside. So I'm like thinking that we could hold on to this and actually try to reload it right in and around the 200 period moving average. So if this does come into 158, man, we'll see if we can put some more damage on the board here with Palantir. So let's hold, see if we get up and around that 160 again. And if not, we do have a reload spot. But honestly, man, I don't know. I'm almost there. I'm convincing myself out of it. We'll take another 20.
Another high.
That's what I was looking at. Look at the market. I'm trying to convince myself to hold it, but at the same time not be stubborn about what we're actually seeing here in today's trade, and that's a downside push, right? So here we go, man. I'm going to get out one more piece, and then if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and this thing can moon, and we'll only have half on. But so far, so good here for the long in Palantir. I just nervous hands, I think, with the market.
Yeah, and I got stopped out on Bitcoin, and it actually hadn't broken the trend line. So I must have misplaced my stop. So I did jump back in when I realized it and then waited till it actually broke the trend. We are solidly to the upside now in USO. So I got to track over, well, CCL just lost. So CCL, that was it was a breakout setup here because this is like kind of one of those easier setups. There was a breakout setup where effectively I'm just giving it to the prior low, looking for a 27 target on 26.3 break there, and it doesn't want to go. And it's not going to go without oil, let's be real. But as the market goes up for oil, I said there was one place I was looking on a move up. You just went $2, $1.50 on USO. Boyle is not bouncing. So I know this one is relatively weak at this point. So once I see any kind of a curl or we get back and make a double top on USO, I'll bring the chart back for you. I'm going to look to fade in Boyle. Like, see how weak it is? It just doesn't want to go. Nat gas doesn't seem to want to go as much as oil is going. So I want this one to be the reversion trade. I like the relative strength, relative weakness. Because the longs, most of the longs, if you didn't get that original breakout, the dip prices I liked, am I still going to like them if oil is trending higher? Not as much. I'm going to have to look for reversal in energy at this point.
Yeah, I'm looking. I'm looking at this market and thinking like we had written down TQQs, like that we didn't mind this price down here. I wrote down 44 and a quarter. That's pretty much where we are right now. So I am going to try to take a little bit of a dip buy here, you know, in the space. So let's see if we can get it now. Well, here it is, new position. So we'll hit these sirens on right there. 44 and a quarter. If we lose this level that we're at right now, I think it's wise enough to potentially get out. Those bottom wicks are 44 teens. So why don't we just use that as our potential out here? 44, like 14 or so if it breaks it. I think this is well worth the amount of risk that we're putting into this right now. So we'll wait to see if we do get something in and around that area. 44 and a quarter is sort of what we were looking at. So if we do dip down, we'll try that. So right now it's double barrel longs. Let's see if we can get a chicken dinner winner out of one of these trades. We already got one with Palantir, but now new position into the TQQs. And again, we had said risk on, so I'm going to try to stick with that today and try to go long. The market's kind of telling us a little different as we sit here and watch oil and we watch out for our long names with Palantir and with the TQs. And of course, the TQs is a futures derivative product. And here we go, kicking it kicking it old school right now. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
We're doing it again right here. So this is what we talked about, whether or not you're trading futures, looking to get funded or not. We just stepped into the long. I always put on here a TQ play, so we're in it right now. We'll cash out a little bit there in the mid 50s, and then we'll just see where we can go from here. But so far so good as TQ's going to the upside now, and we'll see if we can hold on to this just for a bit. I think the highs, honestly, 44.80s. Like if we can get back into the 200 period, I think that's a great look. So we actually got out of a third up there. Let's see if we can hold now for 44.70 or 44.80s on the TQs. I'm just going to put an order there. You never know if it rips up on some sort of a story. And then you know where our out are, 44.15s. So, you know.
Yeah, market up, going to look for the reversal in energy. We filled the first gap on USO here. So you got a topping tail candle in USO. I said I'd go for bull. It was still in its downtrend, so just respected that a little bit more. It breaks the trend, I get out. We have another super chat, so if we can throw it up there, Andre. I believe it was about silver, the super chat, or I can find it if we can. There we go. Oh, no, that's a different one. There was just one now on silver here from, what is that name? Toddler Premium Hunter. There's something about that name that just seems a little bit off.
Yeah, we should not have probably read that.
I'm just saying, come on. Today's trade for me was silver and gold at these levels. SLV, you know what? If we're going to have any kind of relief in oil prices, this would be good to get back to silver and gold bouncing off levels. But remember, we've been bouncing in energy. So you've had a little bit of a reversal back. Whether it's SLV, whether it's GLD, both of those caught huge relief rallies in the last couple of days. And you could get follow through, but it already gapped. SLV already gapped to 66 without breaking through the highs. I think you almost, if it fills the gap, you gotta wait for 64 here, I would think. But it's all about energy, right? Like you want energy down so gold and silver can go up. And as USO starts to come back in, maybe you'll get your bit of a bounce. That's why I went over to Boyle looking for that same thing. But I'm just gonna play this one on the trend. Thank you for appreciate the super chat there, JKL.
Yeah, exactly.
Rather than
we do appreciate everything over there. Okay, so you know, we did get some talk about Meta earlier today as well, and we remember we do have Adair back there. So if there is any sort of a spike there in crude or a spike in, well, you'll hear it here first. We'll be able to see the market, obviously, as I'm long the Nasdaq right now, and long Palantir. Both of those names will react. That is for sure. Meta on the way down, though, similarly to the market, still underneath that $600 level. We'll have to see if Meta can get going today as well. What made a move down was Netflix. Like Netflix was down to $91 again here today. This is a surprising move for me. I thought Netflix was really cruising. Whoopsies, that's right. We had the split and our charts are not reflecting of that. $100 was a great magnet. I mean, once that deal was done, we really saw it sort of, you know, make that move higher there in NFLX right up into $100. And then it was like, whoops, all the way back in. And now trying to find a level, which I think is another magnet down here as well, is $90. So yeah, this looks like a good dip buy opportunity. I don't know why we didn't look at this earlier today, but yeah, Netflix for me comes right back into the pocket again. Good little level there at $90.50. So that's what it looks like on the daily chart. And this is what it looks like here on the minute chart. So a huge move up early, right about $1.50, which a lot of stocks sort of went bump early. It comes right back in and buys off the 200 period moving average. So, you know, I mean, I don't draw these lines. This is just in here, and I've been looking at the 200 period for a minute, and it holds one more time there. So, you know, so far pretty good right there for Netflix. I do like that dip buy opportunity on Netflix. Apple announcing some age verification. I mean, if anything, this is probably a good thing for Apple, but downside anyways there, as we talked about, 250 maybe coming into play for Apple at some point. That looks like that's going to come in right now as they've been weaker rather than stronger in today's market. There it is right there back into the 200 period moving average, possible buy zone there for Apple. Looks like we are getting another bump a little bit there on the TQs. I'll put something at like 52 just for 5% this time. Get a little bit more out. We're already out of 30%, so if we can get another 5 out, we'll do that right there. And then still waiting for your 44.70 area. But I'm nervous hands because of oil, right? I mean, right now we're just waiting to see what's going to happen. We did get a little bit of a bump up there, which created the market to panic down. We saw that flush, and then boom, now you're coming back in just a little bit. There it is. We get that TQ fill, and now we can wait for a little bit of a higher area here on the NASDAQ.
Yeah, there was also a bounce over here in, well, There's a bit of a bounce of Micron, but we've held the higher low and could be getting back above VWAP here on iBit. So if we get back and hold above VWAP, I'm going to jump back into it if we can, just like Bitcoin at the current prices. Micron's now double bottomed after that story with the Google, Google being direct competition, and obviously that's it took all of the memory names back in. If this can weather the storm, I do still think if this gets back into the highs, it would be a lower. Just give it a little bit lower than yesterday's highs for some kind of a reversal play. But I don't know that that's the weakest one. You don't want to watch WBC. Micron looks like it's going to be the weakest. All right, Bitcoin, you got to get going here. It just can't seem to, it's not really following through. Like my level was 40.40, so it's not trading off the level. And the only thing either I got is VWAP or trend trade. So it's got to trend down, break the trend off of 40.40 or start holding VWAP, which is imminent. So I want to be here in case we get that VWAP hold, and then I would jam into potential long trade. The downside is I should be reversing this short. I know I should be, right? That's a fail break of the high. That's under VWAP. If it breaks this down, I should be shorting. And wow, we just made the fresh high on USO.
Yeah, the market's trying to come in.
If I'm being real, I didn't do this the other day, where all of the long setups, if you didn't have that first one, were gone, and then it's a reversal in the other direction. I'm staring down a trend break and thinking about wanting it not to happen. Well, it did happen. We did just break the trend. We did fail the top. We're making fresh highs in USO. Boyle just broke its trend line as well. So we'll see if we can do the opposite direction on iBit, using the same technicals, but go the other way. Adair?
Let's start with the oil news here. I mentioned a couple minutes ago that Press TV was going to be publishing the details of Iran's response to this conflict here with the U.S., but it is worth noting Press TV is saying that Iran will choose to end the war at its own time. So Iran really going to be calling the shots here. Nothing super shocking, but again, as we've heard reports, and I'm now seeing these reports circulate even more and more, we could be getting this Iranian response published by Press TV very soon. This market today kind of oscillating near intraday lows despite a nice push to pre-market highs right off the open. That was for the NASDAQ. Here is the S&P 500 looking quite similar. Lots of stories today. One name that started strong with a couple catalysts on watch was TSLA. We know that SpaceX, which of course, much like Tesla, is run by CEO Elon Musk, could be filing for their IPO imminently, and furthermore, TSLA with strong sales growth in Europe for the first time in quite a while. Micron, SanDisk, and all these other memory plays are going to be in focus after Google Research published a paper on something called TurboQuant, which could reduce memory needs by up to 6 times. ARM, yesterday we had that ARM Everywhere event, and only place ARM is going right now is mostly to the upside after announcing they're going to be selling their own CPUs and projecting pretty lofty revenue for that new segment of their business. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're enjoying the content as you send you back over to Sean and Neil.
I just assumed with the market at the lows that ARM would have filled in the gap. Literally the opposite.
No,
ARM is flying.
We went longer there. We went longer there on the TQQs, but for right now, markets have been extremely active as of late. We will do this when we get back from Adair.
I have oil news, so I want to get this in super quickly here. We have that response from Iran as, I guess, published here by Press TV, which is an Iranian station. They said that Iran has reviewed the U.S.'s proposal. They think the proposal is excessive, and that President Trump will not be allowed to, in their words, quote, dictate the timing of the end of the war. So again, Iran doesn't like U.S.'s proposal, and they're not going to let President Trump decide when this conflict comes to an end. It's also worth noting this was not on my Trump calendar for today because it came out I think within the last half an hour. But White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt is going to be holding a press conference at 1 p.m. So that could be of note here. Back to you.
All right, so we are still long here, the NASDAQ, and it's cashing out, right? I mean, we had an absolutely monster trade rate there on that move down. I mean, we were waiting there for 44.25s. I mean, it's literally the exact price that we wrote down there, so we take it. And now we don't worry too much about this trade, but we're still in it. So right now, active on that. But markets have been extremely active as of late, of course. More setups mean more momentum, more opportunity. But to take advantage of these conditions, you need two things: discipline and access to capital. And that's where, of course, Trade the Pool comes in. Instead of being limited by the size of your account, traders can access firm capital and focus on executing their strategy and managing risk. No more fear of blowing up your personal account. No more fear of moving your stop loss too early because you're worried about your own savings. This is what we call limited risk trading. If you want to take advantage of that volatility in today's markets, visit tradethepool.com and please, please, please scan that QR code right in front of you now to get 10% off. We want to thank Trade the Pool for that promotion. And of course, so that's what we talk about, man. We're not sitting here on prop floors trading our own money. No, no, no. We are trading firm capital, and that is a great opportunity to level up your game, right? So scan that QR code right there. Get involved with
talking firm biz.
Yeah, get involved with Trade the Pool.
Firm biz.
Right there. Yeah, look, I mean, the market is firming up a little bit to the long right now. I'm like not really feeling this Palantir. It's stopping. So right now, we'll just focus on the market, man. I mean, we will, you know, our bread is buttered with Palantir today, but we're almost up. We've made about half on this futures trade right now that we made on Palantir, and it's going higher, Neil. So there it goes. Yeah, buddy, let's go. We got this trade on board here once again. The two names that we're in so far, Palantir and the futures, both listed right here on our sticky note today. So yeah, follow us to hopefully the yellow brick road. There's the TQQs long at 44.25. What's the low of the day? 44.20 on TQQs. And then there's our Palantir break on the longs. And we do miss, of course, our good friend Tesla on that long as well. But there goes Palantir. Ye of little faith, Sean. All the way back up there on PLTR, right back into 159. So we did not, yeah, we should not have cleared out of that, but we did get a little nervous on some of those Iran headlines, but it's all good, baby, baby. It was not all a dream. This is actually real life.
It's real life, not a fantasy. But then, you know, sometimes it's easy come, easy go in these markets when you certainly see what's going on.
That's for sure.
Whatever. I had
Well
to.
played.
My daughter actually loves, she loves that song, Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah, oh yeah, okay, good one.
It's a banger. Now, Palantir was at VWAP. I was going to mention Palantir off the volume weighted average price, but you know, as the market bounces higher, and you know what, I'm kind of a fool when it comes to it. Palantir bounced off VWAP and there's a bit of a trend break, so I'm long off the volume weighted average price, but the trend break happened in iBit. I said I probably should have been short earlier in here. But we'll play it into 40.40 because that was the support level. I have to respect. I always respect prior highs, right? So prior day high, I'm going to play off of that level and then work off the volume weighted average price. PLTR is similar in some regards in that it was trying to break the trend up, but then trying to hold VWAP. So I liked it down here on Palantir. I thought you could really see 156, 156 half. We know the volatility can have at the open, but now we're just working off the volume weighted average price for PLTR, at least for myself, and we'll give it to the prior bar low as it was technically a trend break. I'll respect 160. That's where everything dumped off in the ITV, IGV red, ITV. Yesterday, the software names got absolutely smoked.
Yeah.
Good day for them today. Where I'd find a little bit of skepticism on the bounce would be those memory chip names, everybody. But I like this one off VWAP. We're getting it now. We'll just try to get the 159s in here so he gets that first half dollar, and then we can see how far it wants to go.
Okay, guys. Yeah, I mean, we just caught that 44.70 level. So, yeah, I just couldn't be happier with today's movements and today's trade. And again, just two names for me there. We did look at Netflix earlier. Let me see what's going on. Neil just mentioned the IGV. So yesterday's big culprit, and one, I mean, there's a few of them. Salesforce was down, Adobe was down, everything was down. And look at today, man, Microsoft down again there today. Obviously, it's not down, you know, percentage points wise, but look what the market's doing, man. The market's up 1% today, and generally speaking, with Microsoft, you generally would want, you know, you would generally want to see Microsoft help lift this bid higher. Yeah, Apple was getting hit earlier as well.
It's still getting hit.
Okay, yeah, so it's still green, but going down as well. So you do see some of these major names that are supposed to be doing the heavy lifting really aren't doing it today. You know, Google, a huge move as well to the downside. So there that one goes as we get a little more nervous about our Google position. I mean, not nervous, but getting into that 280, like maybe the market does wind up losing a little bit of a bid here. Right now, you're back into the 50s now. I'll take another fill.
It's popped up enough to get some reloads on iBit.
Okay, good. Yeah,
oil just made another fresh high.
Okay, yeah. So with the market not really following oil too much today, because you would think that the market would be the lows if oil was near the highs. So let's just be careful with what we're trying to talk about here and some of the trades. And it's not been, easy sledding for all names today. I mean, it's been quite choppy if you've been sort of waiting for trades. Unless you have the directional plays like that Microsoft to the downside. And here's some of the names that you guys want us to look at. I mean, that first one right there, SNDK, I always thought, I don't think it's a house of cards because I don't think it's built on, false narratives or anything. But, this is eventually, supply will catch up with demand. And these names will come back in, and you're starting to see the unwind a little bit right here. That almost got to $700, almost $800, 77777 as a top. You're already down $100 off of that right now as well. So apparently Iran's looking for payment for war damage and all that. That probably ain't going to happen. The thing about it is, what Trump really wants to do is get the Strait. And if they can sort of make that like a corporation where, boats are allowed to run through the Strait of Hormuz, but U.S. either gets a part of it or is able to somehow help monitor, I think that will, get this deal cooking a little bit. And I don't think Iran...
You don't get cash for damages. You get loans. That you're or they come with conditions.
Or maybe they'll help rebuild. I think that would be something as well. So just hopefully so far so good here with some of that news as we hold the longs, man. And I even wrote down on here, there's a little word at the very bottom of this thing that says risk on. So I'm risk on right now and lots of longs and 2 for 2 on the long side. What's up, Adair?
I just want to mention here, I have some more updates when it comes to the Middle East. So just to kind of summarize, I mentioned the main points here, basically Iran saying that President Trump cannot, quote, dictate when this conflict ends. But, we heard the U.S. had set a 15-point plan. Iran has reportedly responded with a 5-point plan. Those are their conditions for the war to end. They want the U.S. to, quote, stop the assassinations and the strikes. And Iran said they also want some kind of plan in place to ensure that no more conflict happens after this. So again, this is just like what I'm hearing. I haven't heard anything since that announcement we had at 10 a.m., but I'm just providing a little bit of a summary here. Back to you.
Yeah, what I'm looking at is pulling back. VWAP just got lost on Palantir. iBit's tracking back into its lows for what it's worth. I just feel like, when I was talking about the correlation with between oil and what I was watching, it's primarily Bitcoin and oil. Like you can see the stair step. Whoops, that's Fibonacci, not a trend line. You can see the stair step up in USO, and then you can see the same stair step down that's happening. So until that changes, then gotta stay the course there. Originally, I wanted to be Bitcoin long, but what are you gonna do? It failed to break the high. It failed the volume weighted average price. If you're not gonna be above VWAP, then usually you're gonna be trending into the downside. And USO again, just making another fresh top. Just can't stop going, oh yeah, Circle. There's been a lot of, obviously I know a lot of people have been looking at Circle. Circle just lost VWAP as well and starting to come back in. 20% down yesterday, yikes. If this retraces to the $100 level, these guys are cooked if they lose $100 today. It basically pulled back into what you would think would be a good support level, but I remember Brian Shannon and one of the things he said, which is pretty apt, guilty until proven innocent. You drop 20% in a day and have a major news headline against you, it's kind of like you're guilty until proven innocent. You got to show me a reason to buy.
I want to sort of average, I'm thinking right here about USO. I know I'm long market and I said risk on, which might be a short for oil. I think both can actually work. I think the market can go up and oil cannot move or hang out. This relationship between oil, which is, of course, not just always on USO. We look at USO as a trading venue, of course, for oil. But there goes the TQs, man, at the highs right now since when we've had it. Here we go, trying to break through VWAP right now. You see what I'm saying? Like I was just talking about oil right there, not moving at all. And look at the futures trying to get going here a little bit right now. So I almost think that this is... is this even moving? Okay, there it goes, 2.7. I was gonna say, why is this not moving at all? But yeah, there it is right there. And you could see here on the TQQs, there we go. We are waiting, actually why am I not waiting at VWAP? I need to be waiting at 75. There we go, we get a 75 there, Phil, or 74 on VWAP. So good little trade there to exit out. I mean, that was the reload spot for me, and that was the key spot. We got in a little bit early on that, but if you're looking at this, there's my note right there. There it is, not Tesla, sorry. The look was with the TQs, 44.25 long, with many top names higher. Today we're looking for an early pullback, then load the long on dips. Market wants good news. So there you go. With oil going up, market still going higher. So we nailed that one, and then risk on right there as well for the market. So happy with what we're seeing in the day at this point. And yeah, we've hit our goals, and we're pretty happy with what we've been doing here so far today. Nice trade up to VWAP on the market. Let's see if we can now take it out. I mean, maybe we want to spend the day above VWAP for once. So yeah, let's hold on to this trade and see if it wants to continue to go, man. I hope everybody out there is having an absolutely great day. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. We're on absolutely every streaming platform you can think of, and we're really proud of that. So thank you for joining us. I hope you guys are making some money. Shout out to everybody over there on TikTok.
Yeah, shout out to our TikTok viewers, shout out to all of our viewers, shout out to everybody in the chat. Remembering to hit the $sign for the visualizer. I know SNDK, the memory names have been top the entire time. SNDK, Micron, AMD was on the watch list, Tesla, VCX, which we actually got a super chat about, Palantir. The only name up here that we have not looked at is actually a dog that is turning it around, and that's going to be SoFi, up 3%. We'll get to SoFi. It doesn't have a particular catalyst. Well, the catalyst right now is the market bouncing. That's your catalyst for SoFi until proven otherwise. It needs to break 1740 was that level from the other day, and it's not that far away. It's about 13 cents. So that was a level we liked that hasn't broken all week. But as the market bounces, the level I wrote down today for the dip was 1440 on iBit. So the market has bounced all the way from the lows to VWAP, and we're on that level. So if we're still trending down, this would be the spot for it to reverse and follow. So I will reverse this trade if it does. Otherwise, the trend is what it is. Like you get this kind of a bounce higher. Right now, iBit's relatively weak. There's no other way to look at it when we've already bounced off the lows and this isn't going. And as I looked over, I'm like, okay, well, is there something that looks better in terms of trying to find a bounce in crypto land? Because that can be another way to express the long. ETH is exactly the same, so there was no reason. But BMNR, if this will load up promptly, BMNR is already a little bit stronger. So BMNR would be a breakout over VWAP. So I might prefer this one for a reversal into crypto long if it decides to follow, but that thesis isn't gone yet. You don't bounce that far in the market, find something on the lows. It's not the point to give up on the short just yet. But if it breaks the trend line, I can pop out of it right quick. And we got another super chat in here from Adventure Dog LA. There's a more wholesome name. See, I can read that one out loud, not have any problems. That's very specific. So it looks like you gave a percentage, 682, because you made 682.54. Thanks for Hood Watch. Oh, Robinhood. Yeah, Robinhood Watch. Pre-market break was a clear move. Question, I wish I took that one. We were looking at so many opportunities out there, but Robinhood, good-looking stock. I love that daily chart. What is the best way to short oil? You can't on USO. You don't want Boyle, so you want to short. I thought there was a reverse. Dang it. I'd actually have to look it up, because I know there is a reverse ETF that is available to you. Well, off the top of my head, I'm blanking on it. But we can probably crowdsource, because I'm willing to bet. There it is. It's SCO. Thank you, Chad. You guys are undefeated. There's always an ETF that is the reverse. Always. So you can look at CSO. Although the volume maybe not quite as good, it trades a little bit thinly. Well, it's a thicker stock because it's only $8. But there's always something to look at. So SCO would be the one. We just got to VWAP, and we just broke the trend on iBit. So at least for now, the reversal is done, and we'll look for this one to close above the trend line to get into long. As another super chat in there.
Okay, thank you guys for all of that. Okay, so here goes the TQs, man, up to 44.80 and still going. ASNS, good morning, everybody. Good morning to you as well. Just touching out here at 44.85. now for the TQs. I mean, low of the day as we posted it, right there upside. So we are starting to empty out the clip just a little bit. We have about 20% left on that one. And then we got a little bit of a bonus fill on Palantir as we went back into 159. We were waiting for 158.10s down here on Palantir, just trying to see what's going on with this 200 period moving average, but very, very light. The Palantir trade is very, very light. The TQQ trade, although getting lighter, still have a decent position on for that one as well. Randy asked about XOM and some of these other plays that have hit so far today. And by the way, we did have this poll up. And this is what the poll was talking about early on. And where's Fabian? There he is. Fabian, we got some good reactions with this poll today. And it was, are you buying the opening print on SpaceX? I'm going to end the voting right now. It looks like it's 60-40 right there. So we'll end voting right now. And let's, we'll get another poll happening up right now. And I think what we can do for a poll is we'll just try to get you guys to hit the keys a little bit. Right there, I just have to do.
Which sector do you like for the rest of the day, from here till the end? Space is in play. Just memory chips you could have in there. You could go energy, metals, or gold. Let's just say.
Yeah, I'm going to go for right now. It's only 10:20, so it's very early. Are you green? Are you green or red? Okay, so are you green today or red on the day? And then so we'll just put into here, option A will be green, okay, and option B will be red, okay? So you guys here, just don't vote yet once you put this out, and then we'll do the section, because we'll wait to see the call by Adair. And we'll see the sector watch, right? So here we go, green or red. Let's go, start voting, get that vote going right now. Wow, okay, 4 votes, 5 votes, okay, 100% of you right now. And wow, the poll is lighting up right now on the chat. So it looks like we got a good one here. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1. Wow, there's a hell of a lot of green today. So that's great, man. Once you see that, you know that we've got, got guys going good right there. So we'll check this back. Well, let's take it back in 10:25. Green or red on today's poll, let us know, and that would be awesome if you could do that. But the market, as we've been doing this little vote there, has made its way back in just a little bit there. So that's why this could always change if you are still holding on to position. So make sure that you do get in and out of your trades when you see fit, right? You never know what's going to happen. Your crude inventories draw out at 10:30, so that's going to happen. So Q's still going upside. We actually got a reload there on Palantir down there near 10. So let's offer some out here at 30s and see if we can get another offer as well. Right there, okay, we get some 25s. So decent. Oops, that's still the TQs, my bad. This is Palantir right here as we do get that dip buy there on PLTR. Nice move higher, man. We said we're waiting at 158.10. That is, once again, another one. So we got reloaded down there. And thank you to DJ Khaled, because there it is. It's another one, and it's going higher. Bang! Right there. Good trading over there on Palantir. And there goes the TQs here to the upside. So, yeah, man, what a day it has been today. We are now 75% of you guys are green. That is bucking the trend for day traders. So thank you so much once again to everybody that is watching the show today. And hopefully you're all having a good day. And if you're not, hopefully you're enjoying the programming. And, there's much more of this day around, man. It's only 10:20 right now. So thanks for that excitement, guys. That was a lot of fun to do that. And we did get a bump up there again in the TQ. So we'll take another piece out there. On my trade of the day, we marked down 44.25 as our potential long area there on this name. So all good. I don't know when we're going to Adair, maybe now? Okay, let's go to Adair and see what she's up to.
Small cap recap time. CIFR, not the smallest market cap. I think this is like a $6 billion market cap, but this one obviously is higher. It's a less expensive stock, around just under $17. This one was on our watch list this morning because they announced a 15-year lease agreement with a hyperscaler. So nice look for them. Here is RMSG. This company is Real Messenger, penny stock, announcing a strategic technological collaborative initiative. So nice, fun bag headline for this one. RMSG has a market cap of just over $4 million. You've got a float here of about 1.2 million shares, so small float. Last but not least, another penny stock. Well, actually now just breaking back into the dollar level. Obviously a lot of volatility on this one, NXTT, because they announced a $157 million direct offering. Back to you.
And just because earlier we had a discussion about USO and shorts, we can short USO. Not all brokers can. One of the viewers simply said at their broker it was hard to locate, hard to borrow, so then go to SCO. For us, it's easy to borrow and always has been. I don't think we've ever had to pay for shorts on USO, to be honest with you guys, but every broker is going to be different. It's not to toot the horn of real trading, but it's just the truth. 99-point-something% of anything that's listed on the US markets are easy to borrow for us, and even if we can't, you can pay for those locates. An example of that would be Circle. I think you pay 1/8 of 1 cent per share for Circle shorts. So that is what it is. But there was a trend break on USO. I said, I know I probably wrote down this morning like 111.50. It didn't get to 111.50, so we'll play it that side, give it to the higher low as always. iBit wicked out of the trend line, but then immediately regained the trend line. So I jumped back into this. It just wicked me out on the trend line, so I'm going to hold on to the short by coming back in at basically at the price that we got out. And as long as this continues that downward trend, like the market's blasting higher and it's still going down. So I got to respect that fact and jump back in to see if it can get back down into some of those lows for sure. Hangry Wife is in USO based on WTI and not Brent. Why is it tanking if the US supply is not affected by the news? Help you understand. Momentum and sentiment. Brent, you can trade Brent, BNO. If you're, is that right? Yeah, BNO. If you want to look at Brent specifically, you can always go look at BNO. It's not incredibly liquid though, that's the problem. It's on 1.7 million in volume and very difficult. It's almost all like quote stuffing on level 2, Adair.
Just a quick update here with regards to Iran and the U.S. Now, I know we mentioned they had their 5 terms and conditions to end the conflict with the U.S., but here's one thing that's just coming out now. They said they're not even going to be open to any talks unless the U.S. meets the 5 conditions. Now, those include repayment for damages. They also include promising or having some kind of structure in place to prevent future conflicts. So they don't want any more conflicts here. They want an immediate end to attack. And I think the key point is the 5th point, which is they want international recognition of Iran's quote-unquote authority over the Strait of Hormuz. So unless those conditions are met, which includes the authority over the Strait of Hormuz point, they're not even going to want to talk to the U.S. right now. Back to you.
Yeah, we talked about that with the Strait of Hormuz possibly being, okay, here we go, nice move there. Let's go, Palantir. We almost broke below, and now Palantir is really getting excited back up to the upside right now. There we go. Oh, boy, that mark might have to change there if you're positive or not on the day, because there we go, man. If you're long, you're getting that risk on trade that we had mentioned over and over and over again right now. Nice move to the high side. I've only traded 2 names today, man, Palantir and the TQs, and they're both almost the exact same net right there to the upside. So
on USO,
yeah, absolutely huge trade right back there to the upside. So yeah, good move there. Look at that, 159 right now coming upside on Palantir. Wow, big move. I'm going to take another opportunity out to get some out here at 159 on Palantir. Go ahead.
The only thing I can explain is, as I was hearing that headline, was in the short on USO, it got to VWAP, reversed into the long. Before I could, all I hit was offer enter, and it was already back at those highs. It was a technical bounce off VWAP to exit the reversion short, but then also hearing the news, hit the long. Yeah, that was a lot of volatility that just sort of came into it. It was right off that volume-weighted average price. So, yeah, well, that just changed everything because that worked to VWAP, and then it was a reversal we were able to get out of as well. So thank you, USO. Thank you, Adair, who we're going right back to now.
Yeah, and I think that pop and drop, that specific chop, might not have been the headline that I brought earlier, which was that talks will not be happening unless the 5 conditions are met. But there was another headline that came out like seconds afterwards. A senior Iranian official saying to Reuters, I'm seeing reports, or at least that Reuters is reporting this, senior Iranian official saying that Iran's initial response to the U.S. proposal is not positive, but that Tehran is still reviewing the proposal. So this was not what we got earlier. What we got earlier is just they rejected the proposal. Again, we're seeing reports that Tehran is still reviewing the proposal from the U.S., though, again, they don't think it's very good and they don't feel positively about it. Back to you.
Talking about how you look at the prices here, and I was saying to Neil as well, this is all quote stuffing.
I was
as well.
110 long, and I was looking at 110.25 when I hit the enter key, and I got filled at I got filled at 40.
Yeah.
So like I thought I was taking a quarter and was making 40 pennies, and because that's how quickly the real price action is moving. You've got to realize that what you see visually is not a good representation of the actual market, because it's a bunch of orders going in. It's not static levels that you're looking at. They're constantly being pulled and entered back in. So it's kind of like a fluid. It's more fluid is the best way to think about it. It's like a stream.
Yeah, we are watching out for this right now. Let us know, guys, whether or not you are green or red. Type it in right now. We'll end this at 10:30 right now. So make sure, yeah, no matter where you, we got
Anywhere
you.
that you type one or two.
Wherever you, Okay, got you there, Fabian. Wherever you guys are voting right now, you can vote on TikTok, on Instagram, wherever we're live right now. You type a 1 or a 2 into your chat, and it will be registered right there. So as we go, man, so far 1,400 chat detections. I'm not even really sure what that means. Right now we have 240 or so votes going through right now. So make sure you do hit that like and that subscribe, as well as a 1 or 2. And I'm just seeing right now in our chat, man, what a day it looks like for all of you guys out here. 75%, that is a crazy ratio, green to red. So that's fantastic. I hope a lot of you, I mean, I'm not sure where everyone has made their money, and that's, I think, what we could do with maybe our next poll. But here is a little look at what's been happening market-wide so far there today. Let's go back over here and go to all, and just to see, wow, it always is a nice feeling when you see a market look a little bit like this. All to the green side, right? Some of the energy names, we know those are going to be lower. Lam Research getting hit today, down 2%, so that might be a buy if you do. Wow, come on, Palantir, man. Now, Palantir, by the way, is up $1 from where we reloaded it. Like, you want to talk about trading today. This Palantir almost broke down against us right there. Now back up to 159. Let me put another offer out right there and take, we just put an 06, and you see what just happened there? I'm going to have to just cross down now. I'll put a 90s and get that fill. But, okay, we'll still wait at 06 in case that comes back. All right, NVIDIA there as well, up 2.8%. Really like that name. Tesla up 3%. That was on our list today as well. It's nice to see some of the financials battling back today, with JP Morgan up 1.17%. So that's a good one. Bank of America, American Express, Goldman Sachs. We do have a build right now on oil. So we can have a quick check. It was an expected draw. So let's go back over here and look to see what exactly is going on right now with crude. Nothing. So not much going on. We do get that Palantir trade, so that's $1 there, up to 159. And yeah, man, so far so good as we go. But what an amazing number there, 75% of you guys out there. Let us know. You had a good idea about the chat there. I think Marvell running, apparently.
Marvell look the other
oh my God, Marvell.
I know. I'm surprised by two things. One of them was, no, I'm not surprised by Marvell, sorry. I was surprised by ARM. For sure, that one caught me off guard, because I thought with the market, that initial pullback, there's no way that ARM wouldn't be headed the other way. The thing is, I want to wait. I want to hold off on that poll, maybe even do it for the midday, because I think we can do up to 10 names on the poll.
Yeah.
So I feel like what we want to do is try to pick out at least 6 or 7 important sectors or stocks and get a real read on what people are preferring. That's one thing that makes a lot of sense to me. And if you do that almost every day, I think that would be cool. And then you could have like small cap gapper in one there that maybe Sharif likes, and he can throw that in there, because I haven't seen any that I'm interested in. We have a super chat if we can quickly throw it up. Andre? I can. I saw this from JKL. I'll just throw it up myself.
Yeah.
I'm not red or green, I am silver.
I saw that.
I don't know what that means in a trading sense.
Means green.
But it probably means you're long silver. I think. I'm guessing right now. I don't know that for sure. JKL, appreciate the super chat. But actually, I like that trend break, because I'm a fan of them. And one of them that might do a trend break right here. We stuck with the trend on iBit, but we're going to reverse it. And one thing that gets sort of lost in the whole like red or green thing is, remember, as Sean said, whether it's like taking a profit and running or whatever it might be, you want to make sure you hold on to your profits. Make sure that when you take a hit, it's something that you can make back. That's very important. We had a super chat from someone that took a big hit this morning, and appreciate them sharing that, even though it's a difficult thing. Part of that is knowing where your stop out is going to be. The other thing is, making sure if you have one good trade, like I'm up on one symbol today, but I'm green because I'm up on one symbol today. That's par for the course. Like I always want to make sure if I have a good trade that week, whatever the best trade is, I don't want to have any trades that are down more than that is up. And then I make sure I look at that over the course of a week, look at that over the course of a month, look at that over the course of a quarter. You always make sure you keep your losses in the range that you can make back. And we have another well, just a traditional poll, I guess, up here that I just saw. Be honest, what are you doing right now? Already trapped, waiting patiently, chasing. I like trend reversals, so usually I'm waiting for the next trade. This is a confirmation candle. So regardless, it didn't hit my stop here, which is this prior bar. So I'm short here. This is my out. It didn't actually hit my stop yet, but it is looking like a trend break for a reversal trade. So I can still get out without this hitting my stop if it simply holds above this trend line. Trip is saying short AMD. Okay, AMD was a mistrade for me on the long side, so it's going to be hard for me to say. It's at the high of the day, so I get it why you're probably thinking short. But like the fail for me was not. It was a breakout trade. There was no dip on AMD. Some stocks gave you the dip and rip. Other stocks flat out didn't dip at all. And thank you again, another super chat from Lunch99. A lot of super chats today. Appreciate you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When everyone is putting up numbers today, it's an easy day for Super Chat. And if you guys remember what I talked about in the pre-market, we literally talked about Voyager. They're up 7%. So shout out to someone in the chat that had just mentioned my name and Voyager. So there we go. We talked about that one today. Heading in, and I apologize, I can't find you. Heading into SpaceX potential IPO. So there goes Voyager. And look, man, I mean, shout out to absolutely everybody that has been tailing me on Marvell. This is, a pretty big holding for me. And, I'm always telling you guys how much I love this stock, but also letting you know that I own it. So, we just were able to buy dips, man. We were able to buy this dip on earnings. Not only did I buy it before earnings, we also bought it 3 days after, let this thing run up, and then dip bought it down here at the 200 period again into earnings again with Marvell, and now you're bumping higher. So this has been a really special trade for me with Marvell. And it's not even like it's mooning or anything. It's just a slow grind higher. And I do think that this name can get back up to these highs, right? You're 1 or 2 upgrades away from putting another 4 or 5% rate on its head again for Marvell. And in that way, you'll get above that $100 mark. And then we climb from there and we say, when moon, how about now for MRVL? Look, man, could still fall back in. There is no doubt about that one, but I like the stock and I'm happy to tell everybody about that. We're almost $1 in the money right now on the TQs, but look where we stop out right now, right into there again on TQs. So yeah, I mean, I trade USO all the time and it's been a real big winner, for me on the show and sometimes a loser as well. But I just trade it because it's a pure play against oil. I mean, you could look at other names when you're saying about oil companies, they have their own individual catalysts all the time, right? And so when you're looking at an XOM, although oil today not doing a whole heck of a lot, XOM, you see it's down 1% when, oil itself is down 3, I think it was last time we just checked.
Oxy's green.
Down 4, yeah, Occidental green, so I didn't even know that, so that's another look there. So these are part of the stories that you got to watch out for because not all the time are the stocks that you trade going to react with the underlying sort of asset that you believe in, right? We've seen AG, like a silver name, moving different than spot silver. But when you're looking at spot, yeah, the ETFs to trade with would be USO and SLV. So there are some advantages and disadvantages to trading that versus the actual name itself, the actual underlying itself. But to each their own, really.
Yeah, like USO's coming right back in on that trend. But since their earnings, many days have preferred Oxy longs for an energy trade. Not necessarily today, because I wasn't really thinking energy long today when I sat down, but oftentimes you just look at what individual name might be strong. This is stair-stepping to the upside and say, all right, well, they're going to have exposure to both oil and gas here with Occidental. Their trend is obviously very nice and very well structured, especially since their earnings, the way it held that $50 level. Look at the dip on earnings. We talked about that. I think it was with Obi at the time. It was a really good dip back in after their earnings play. So you can do that. I think that's perfectly fine. Today, that oil inventories number gave you a little bit of a shock, but we're still, all it's done is one trend break on USO into VWAP that happened to bounce for a quick reversal. At the same time, Adair was giving some headlines. I think that's why you had the extra shock. Artemis, hey, great name. The Artemis mission, someone asking why Rocket Labs is moving. There's a lot of things moving in space. There's some NASA news. Obviously, the Artemis mission is going, but they want to have robots, and they want to have a lot of autonomous robots operating on the moon, and so there's a lot of bump in space. It's not just SpaceX here today. Rocket Lab's probably getting a little bit of that. Artemis saying, I have slow fingers, and that seems like a dogfight every day, all day. What's the best strategy? Don't use your fingers. You can set up a lot of trading now. You can set stop orders to get yourself into position. You can set stop orders. Conditional orders is what I should be saying, because people think of a stop order as this is where I'm getting out and covering my position. But if you have the ability to set conditional orders, that might say something like, and I'll just use an example of AMD here. Like you could have a conditional breakout order of 212, let's just say, and when it goes through 212, it triggers a long position for you. That way you're not trying to punch in manually if you're too slow. Or as you see it getting through VWAP, right here when it wicks under VWAP, you're seeing it press through. When it's down underneath, you set a conditional order to try to go long here, like 215.50. So that if at any point, like while it's down there, if it breaks 215.50, it fires your order into the long side. That's one way you can combat it. Again, for the style of trading, which is punch in, punch out, there's going to be certain limitations, like how quickly you get your order in is going to matter. But there are all kinds of conditional orders you can use to your advantage, if your platform allows them. Obviously, we have them here, Real Trading.
Yeah, I mean, that's all that I use pretty much for almost all of the trading. I mean, for this Palantir trade where we punched right into right there, that was a conditional trade, right? We just put it in and said, get long if we break the opening range right there. So that's what happened. For this order, I put it in myself, but that was actually a keystroke error. So to your point again, like, if you put in the wrong order, you can get filled at the wrong price. And we did that there as well. By the way, 159.50 is what I'm waiting for. Maybe we should move this to 40. Let's go to 159.40 right now, and we'll cancel our 50 just because that seems to be the top. So if we can get that again, we'll take it. We're at 36s actually. Oh, it just ran upside. We'll see. Oh, and a nice move back down. Oh, just quickly here on TQs. So I do have an out scheduled for a break of the 50 period. So 44.69, if we break that, then your boy is out of that trade. So paying attention to see if there's anything hitting over there with the TQQs and a break lower, but down lower than 44.69, and we'll stop out just as an example. And here we go as we go. Oh, we just bounced off 36 again. I know we got to go to Adair. Hopefully we'll get this 159.36. What a reload down there on that name, man. Right into 158 again, man. That was a real good move. So, okay, all good on this front. Let's go back over and see what Adair is up to.
Just be aware on the crypto front, before we get to Sector Watch, the House Financial Services Committee is hosting a hearing right now on tokenization. I'm listening to it because I enjoy congressional hearings. Probably not market related, but just be aware that this is happening. Let's talk now about these sectors. Strength, for the most part, in electronic technology, though you do have some laggards, specifically those names in the memory space like Micron and SanDisk. Now, that's likely because, as we've talked about a couple times now today, Google Research announced this TurboQuant feature, which can cut down on the need for memory. That's obviously not going to be a good look for some of these memory hardware plays. Tech services, with the exception of two of the Meg 7s in the space, Google and Meta, is actually relatively strong. Palantir to the upside. We know they're reportedly working with Anduril on this Golden Dome project with the US and Meta. Tons of headlines. Even in spite of a loss in this child welfare case in New Mexico, they're actually still to the upside. Consumer durables being led by Tesla with impressive Europe sales and, of course, excitement over the SpaceX IPO, which is likely going to happen very soon. Health tech to the upside, consumer services mostly to the upside, process industries to the upside. Now, weakness, energy minerals pulling back a little bit as we had a response from Iran on the U.S. proposal, basically saying they don't think it was positive, but they're still willing to entertain it. They do have 5 points they want the U.S. to meet before they actually have a face-to-face conversation. Health services also relatively weak, guys.
Yes, sir. And as you mentioned with like what's going on with crypto, you got to respect the fact that it's just operating differently from the market, right? Like the NASDAQ continues to go higher. It's pressing into the highs. You're still operating at the low. So, and again, it doesn't mean it has to correlate. I'm still of the belief there is a reverse in here at some point because we're at a very big support level. So as we go higher, take a little bit out because I can see it happening, but I want to get that curl. The other thing that is worth watching is all this stabilization that you're getting in oil futures. I think the fact that we're able to rally without oil coming back down is a good sign. But at some point, I do think there'll be another shot for this to break down. Whether it'll be a run, maybe it needs to press back into the actual high at 1150, I should say, before doing another trend break. But I don't think this story's done with oil coming back in here. And sort of to each their own. If you think there's some strength, we have already shown you guys that Oxy and probably a couple of other names looking relatively strong if you do like them. But that AMD at the high, it's trying to go. I know we had someone saying they liked AMD for a short. I can't argue with it. I was biased long on AMD today, but I didn't get the trade, so it doesn't really matter. It is breaking the all-day trend. But look how it's broken the trend 5 minutes ago and barely moved. So it's still looking very strong, 6.5%. Remember, AMD had their own headline this morning. It's not just a market up thing. AMD and Intel raising CPU prices. And again, if you're able to successfully raise prices, it's a good way to keep the margins strong, which they need because they're more expensive than NVIDIA. So they need to get every advantage that they can. I like NVIDIA more than AMD, but that hasn't been necessarily right momentum-wise. When AMD goes up, it tends to go up more. It works both ways. It's pulled back further. But look at that clean bounce off the 200 period. If you like the 200 period moving average on a stock, you buy the 200 period moving average on the stock.
All right, here we go, man. I'm having too much fun. We have now activated lunch, sandwiches, or tacos. You're going to have to hit that vote right now, no matter where you are voting.
Is the question, what do we think, or what do we want?
No, what do you want? What do you want? This is for lunch. If I could say you have lunch, you want sandwiches there, or you want tacos. And notice I'm not putting chicken tacos. I'm not putting tuna sandwiches.
Can I type
this is just, you can type as many times as you want. Right there. Actually, Neil, type it 100 times, please, in the chat if you can.
I want tacos.
That's the whole point of that. Right there. So type tacos right now is dominating, obviously.
Well,
so
that's half of it.
Sandwiches or tacos right now. Hit that vote in the chat. A lot of people voting tacos. I think I would vote tacos as well. But there it is, man. We'll get that vote going. And we'll end this vote at 10:50 where we can find out what's for lunch. Okay, so right over there. Joe wants to talk about something? No, the vote's already over. Oh, the vote's already over. Yeah, it's over right here. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Tacos should win on that one. So, all right, guys, look at that. What just happened right there. It's a face slap on Palantir. We get that fill. So look, man, I mean, this is part of what we're talking about when we trade, right? And that is right here. It's pretty simple. All we had to do was adjust our stop. We were waiting there at our target out. We were waiting at 159.50. We just called it up. We only have 2 trades today, Palantir and the futures with the TQs. So right into there, we noticed that was sort of the top, so we do put a bid out and take that, right? It does come right back into VWAP. We are going to stop out if it takes the 200 period. We said that about both of these trades. So I'm going to put another offer right here at 04. We didn't get that again. But we'll see if we can get that. And then the same thing here for our TQQs. A stop out now. It's still going to be break of 70. That's what we're going to wait for. But you could see as this 50 period moving average comes up, we are potentially getting a reload zone right now at 44.80. Because I'm out of here in 15 minutes, I won't sit here and take that trade. You never know what's going to happen, man. I mean, if I take that, next thing you know, the market absolutely tanks and, my stop triggers and we're getting absolutely smoked on it. Even though you have a stop at 44.70, I've been sitting here on the queues and said, I want to get out at 44.70, and it winds up punching me out at 44.40. Or 44.30 or 44.20 because all of a sudden some news hits and there's some levitation on the bids or on the offers, and the next thing you know, man, the prices are absolutely in the tank. Okay, here we go again, man. Now let's put another offer at 158.80. That's sort of been 159.80. Sorry, that's sort of been our highs. We're sitting on $2+ right now in these 2 stocks. So far so good. Just 2 names for me today, and we're at the highest spot I think we've been at all month, maybe. Potentially just with 2 stocks right there. So get in here. The voting has really hit the skids here, but try to hit this. We have 3 more minutes. What do you want for lunch? Sandwiches right there or tacos? So get that going and let us know as we just continue to moon today, man. On the net side of things, we said risk on, and it's been a risk on kind of day from those bottoms.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, everywhere except for, I guess, crypto with that hearing that is going on.
Yeah.
And also apparently SoFi. I said I was going to get to this one. I was really hoping, no, hope is the right word. I was about to say you shouldn't say hope, but hope is the right word. With the NASDAQ pressing the highs, that what I'd be looking at is this 1740 breakout, which is still not happening on SoFi. But as long as, I don't care when it happens, as long as it doesn't break the muddy waters low before. So we're still in the consolidation phase here. I'd love for it to go with the market. It's not happening today. It looks like it, at least for now. This could easily break out this afternoon. I do not want to completely write it off at all. Someone just said burrito should be another option. Well, that's the thing. We can do up to 10 options in that. But if you like burritos, tacos are close enough.
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
just a
Like,
poll.
it's not. That's like a distinction.
It's
Without
just a
too much.
poll I made. Yeah, I could.
What
put
I
in
would
there.
also-
I was going to put in there fried chicken actually. I just thought like sandwiches and tacos are just easy. They're typical lunchtime meals. So we like that one. Wow.
The problem is that everyone knows what would win there. So.
Here goes. Lots of stuff happened, my guy. Right now, yeah, so Palantir keeps going higher. As we say hi to Sharif as he's back. Get ready for the midday madness to kick in 11 minutes. Well, I mean, I would make it 12 or 13 minutes, but then Joe will get pissed off. He wants as much screen time as possible over there for my guy, Joe. What's up, Joe, man? Looking handsome as always, my guy. Joey, there, see what I'm saying? You can't give this guy enough look right there. Okay, so nice move again back inside. We did see some Google, and this is another name that Sharif was talking about earlier as well. Down again off the open, but still down to 291 right there. Google was looking pretty good at 295 earlier, but a nice drop down in. And look at Google, man. And this was a surprise to me. I didn't even realize that it was almost entering bear territory now. Top to bottom on Google, 17% right there from the top to the bottom. So we are bearish activity right now on Google, but we ain't bearish on our P&L. We're not bearish on the market today as it continues to rock and roll. This is probably a name that I'm going to be picking up very, very soon, man. I know I am very, very much loaded up in tech names, but I am fine with that. I really think that this name needs to be bought. I was waiting for a little bit closer to the 200 period. I think I even mentioned that the other couple of days, 280 to 285. You know, we have one more sort of a whoosh day. Like if the NASDAQ goes down minus 1%, this name will get to 285. You can see,
285? Yeah.
Yeah, you can see today, you're up 1.2%, and Google's only up 0.3. So imagine this market was downside here. Poor Google would probably be crushed. Okay, money talks right now at 10:50. Then it's everybody's segment when we get back.
Yeah, let's find out what type of lunch is on the menu for today. I mean, what's on the menu for the US dollar looks like a green day so far, and it would be our second straight green day, though we are trading entirely within the range of Tuesday's action. So Tuesday, a little bit of a topping tail here. We open at 99.14, close at 99.18. So we do wick higher, but we close relatively flat. Today, I mean, we're below yesterday's high, and looks like our low here was yesterday's low. Let's see if we can break out or break down on that US dollar. As I mentioned, as far as economic data is concerned, the largest day by far is going to be Friday with that University of Michigan consumer sentiment print, and that also includes an inflation aspect. But let's talk here, speaking of inflation, about these rate odds, because they do continue to be dwindling in terms of a chance we get a cut, especially early this year. Now, here's the CME Fed Watch tool. 96% of participants expecting that rates are going to be held in April. 4% actually expecting a 25 basis point rate increase. Now, that continues with the rate increase is actually going up to maybe 50 basis points. So that's a very small margin that are expecting that in June of 26. If you go ahead to July, still expecting rates held and or a rate increase. That's also the case for September. October, we're still not seeing a cut. If you go to December, that's the first time that you start to get maybe a cut, only 7% chance. So once again, I summarize this to show that we are still seeing very, very small and ever dwindling odds of a rate cut at all this year, let alone especially in that first half of the year. Back to you.
Well, to maybe throw some good news on that rate cut hike story. We had gotten as high as 16% chance of a rate hike next month. So like that's all the way down to 4. It got cut in half earlier in the week and is down to 4. So they're really pricing away. Every single good headline or anything positive that we get out of the Middle East has taken that in the other direction to the point where you're now down to only a 4% chance of a rate hike. The fact that we're even getting to the point of discussing that after Powell spoke last week on Wednesday was a surprise to many, including myself. So I'd like to see that. I think that's good news. And then it helps the market rally. So you do want to watch that rate tool, obviously watch how bond yields are going. With only about 7 minutes to go in here, one name, so this time of day, if it's not VWAP or clear trend, then it's a trend break. So SMCI got to 24, which is great for SMCI, but from VWAP, it's a pretty clean trend on the 3-minute into a double top. It's also filling in the gap. 24 was the high effectively when it gapped down on the, what are we calling this? We're calling it the chip smuggling scandal or whatever it might be. There's no official name for it. Like Chipgate, whatever. SMCI, while not directly implicated, they did have one of their founders and a board member implicated who subsequently stepped down. It's been in a relief rally since, but I like the trend break even if it just comes back into VWAP, if we can cash that one. So big mover here, SMCI, 8% today. Kind of sucks when you're up 8% and you still have this gap that's another 25% higher for it to get back to where it was last week. But that's SMCI for you.
Yeah, it's a tough one, that is for sure, to watch out. And I mean, that scandal, you're going to hit them for a minute. All right, everybody, let's figure out what's for lunch right now. Okay, we do have the British flag today. So we did have Italian, Indian yesterday, British flag today, and that really only ever means one thing. And if you guess fish and chips, Sharif, then you would be incorrect this time around. But that is a great guess. However, we've had this many times. Yep. Yeah, hit that. I like that one. Any guesses over there, Joe? Oh, Joe's already had an early look. Wow, Joe. Okay, today's British meal is very British, and as far as I know, anyways.
Or
I had chicken pot pie yesterday, and Marissa absolutely crushed that. I should show you a picture of it. Wow, actually, the way she makes it, man, the crust and everything as well, and bakes that up. And she had to go to an executive meeting for hockey, so I just threw that thing in the oven, and man, we ate that up there. That was real nice. It's always good when the kids go back for seconds, that's for sure. But today's What's for Lunch is beef pot pie. So it is not chicken pot pie. This is beef pot pie. It's not shepherd's pie because we did figure out that shepherd's pie is lamb. Yeah. So we're not only are we
I didn't know that.
Hopefully, educating about trading, but also I'm gonna get another piece out on Palantir here. But also talking about the cuisine around the world. All right, with winter roasted vegetables. Seems like it's a little springtime action around here. A garlic mash, although it feels like winter.
What's the definition of winter? What makes it a winter vegetable?
Valid point. Or good question.
I
would think it's just, maybe just peppers. Garlic mashed potato. Okay, here, now they're talking out of one side of their face here. With spring mixed salads. So we got winter veggies, spring salad. That's what's for lunch. I think it's been pretty good as of late, the lunches, I thought anyway. Some of the pieces of chicken have been okay, but it's been chicken a lot. So we've had the Parmesan and the chicken biryani yesterday, not super spicy, but okay tasting, I found. Then the beef.
Vegetables were.
And what was not good yesterday?
Yes, they were.
Oh, we're good. I always mix it. That's what I thought too. I was mixing it together. The rice I could always go without, but all right. So that's what's for lunch, and I hope you guys have a successful lunch yourself as well. All right, man. Yeah, Google, we sort of still on that stock there. I did get another piece out on Palantir. There it is, Palantir, at 59. We want to kind of be able to hold that. And then the futures trade, although we're not at a level that I'm like super excited to get out on. We will put an offer there. Just punch out some 05s, get that level right there as we almost broke back down below. I'm going to switch my out now to 79. Is that what I always had it at? There, I had it at 69. So let's just switch it right now. 79 is where VWAP is. So 44.79. I mean, obviously this can't turn out to be a loser. Big day alert today. And happy to be part of it, right? There's our dip buy in the TQs right there. So bought it there. Put on you know, we don't talk about share size, but we did have pretty much a full load down there. So that was going to be a good one. And then also on Palantir, we did talk about that was a mistake and I had to get out of it for a loss. And then all of a sudden it just took off and then I got out the rest there at VWAP, held a little bit, then punched in to that break that we wanted, that we initialized on our sticky note today. And then that was a nice move higher. And then we got a reload right there at 158, which managed to hold out for us as well. So a couple decent trades there on the trade review. It's easy for me to trade review today. I only have 2 trades. And then we'll be back at 2 p.m. where once again, we'll go over some more trades and pass you over to the midday guys, which will obviously be trading many more small cap names than us. I don't think we've even traded a small cap today.
Yeah, maybe the Destiny, not Galaxy. Maybe that Destiny ETF. I have no idea.
Yeah,
We've seemed excited about that one, but we have another super chat. The only I just put the new position on it was SMCI on that trend break, so it just broke trend. The usual prior bar high, VWAP, yada yada yada, and all that stuff. Can we please analyze Planet Labs there? Okay, why not? Planet Labs. You know what? I don't think we ever mentioned this stock. Usually, maybe on earnings, this gets a shout out, but it deserves much more than that because it's been an absolute beast. There's not, what analysis do you want other than buy, right? It's got everything that you want going for it. The trend, strong. Major moving average hold, yes. Accumulation into the last break, that looks like accumulation to me. Technical on the pullback when the market made highs, the pullback directly into the prior high. Oh yeah, that held. Take out the top. It's got everything you want in it, but it hasn't cleared through the high just yet. We're right at that double top on a 15-minute. It does have a bit of a topping tail candle on the 15-minute, but like for those that like. That actually would be a short setup that a lot of people would be in a short like this for a trend break. So if it runs the high, then they might get smoked. Actually, an example would be SMCI right now. Like SMCI is a similar thing, like going into, whoa, that's already a VWAP? Okay. We got the VWAP on SMCI, so that's gonna work out. But what I was trying to say there is a lot of people would short that when it wicked the top and they could be short here. And then the next step, if it breaks out the top on Planet Labs, then you've got one as well. Like the next move, so it does the same thing, does a bit of a topping tail, and now if it takes out the top, those shorts on the trend break are cooked. Right? Like if I was in this one instead of SMCI, I'd be sitting there, well, if I'd be taking this short, I'd be already out because that's how I roll. But Planet Labs looks like a chance it's gonna squeeze some more people to the upside. It is 11 o'clock and it's like 6 seconds over, so I don't wanna give too much time to the boys. I know they'll be having fun. We'll try to get a new poll up, maybe talking about what names, individual names, you like from maybe like lunchtime till the close. So we'll have something figured out by the time we come back with the lesson. We can put up to 10 names in that poll.
Yeah.
Although I think that could be overkill. Maybe 6 or 7 would make some sense. For now, we'll be back at 2. We got Joey options, we got the professor, some small caps, some options talk as well. And of course, we'll always have Adair on the news. So we'll see you guys in a couple hours. Peace.